And we are live. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, did you guys see the Glowie march down there in Florida? A lot of these guys have been exposed as potential FBI agents. One guy went and fought for Ukraine as a Nazi with their Nazi battalion, but yet we give these same Nazis billions upon billions of dollars. If they're the bad guys, why are we funding them? We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Larry Sinclair. I thought they deleted him years ago, but he is not dead. He is alive. This man claims to have had relations with Barack Obama back in 1999 when he was still an Illinois senator. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Black Lives Matter is kind of back. They had a little bit of a rally out there in Ohio for the black woman who was shot and killed by police after an alleged shoplifting, in which she allegedly tried to accelerate her vehicle and run a police officer over after he said, "Get out the vehicle." We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Matt Walsh had a few words to say to a young lady on the TikToks. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I'd most certainly appreciate you if you did. This is also a podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. And of course, shout out to the sponsors. Y'all already know how I do. Shout out to PatriotPost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these internets. Their link will always be in the description, or just go to PatriotPost.us and then tell them ABL sent you. Also go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website. Again, ablmerch.com. Also go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. If you go to the front page of the website, we have articles for each video that I produce. And at the end of each article, I have sources: left, right, independent, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there. So you're able to fact check me in real time on the website. Again, anthonyblogan.com. You can also find full versions of videos that I speak about, that I show and whatnot on the actual YouTubes. For example, I spoke about your main man, Larry Sinclair, interviewing or being interviewed by Tucker Carlson. That full video is available. It's out. It got released about a couple hours ago. That full video is available on my website, anthonyblogan.com. Speaking about full videos and other platforms to see things aside from youtube.com, go to the contact page of my website, anthonyblogan.com/contact. There you can find my email address, my snail mail address, my social media accounts, my X account, formerly known as Twitter, my Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff is right there on the contact page, anthonyblogan.com/contact. And also, if you're ever wondering if you're speaking to me or not, again, as I always say in every single stream, a dead giveaway would be if somebody replies to your comment on my video and they have a picture that looks like me, they have a name that looks similar to me, and they say, "Hey, contact me on this number." And if you donate $1.3 million, you're able to get $1.3 million and $200 US back. Doesn't that sound great? Just give me $1 million, give me your house, give me your retirement, and in return, you'll be able to get $200 on top. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Please don't fall for these scams. Please, please, please don't do it. It's going to be some random 25-year-old from Nigeria, or it's going to be some 15 million pound Lithuanian person laying on their bed, scamming you for all your money. Don't fall for it. I am tired of getting emails and comments from some of y'all, not you guys that are watching. You guys are brilliant. You guys know not to do this, but some people, some normies, hey man, I thought I was talking to you. I invested all my life savings. It's like, look, man, I'm not going to talk to you about no investment opportunities on the internet. I don't even know about Forex or Bitcoin or anything like that. So don't fall for it. Ain't nobody got time for that in 2023 or in any other time period. So that's that. That's my every stream warning to you guys. Don't get scammed by imposters on these interwebs. All right. So hopefully we on the same page, and I'm glad you guys are here. I know it's a deal, right? 007 girl. All you got to do is give $100 million and you get 100 million and 500 back. Sounds great, doesn't it? But anyway, thank y'all for being here yet again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And if you're listening on an audio only platform, please give me a 5-star rating, give me a review, do whatever you can to support this podcast on your platform of choice. All right, so where do we start? There's so much to get through. I have so many videos for you guys. There's so much happening. I done already recorded a lot of videos. I got a lot of videos I recorded that go all the way up until like Friday because I got so much content, I don't even know where to start. But I think first things first, I think I'm going to get into some of these, some of the crazier stories that that I probably won't cover in the video necessarily. And also some things that we just got to see. we just got to see. Now, Hunter Biden, I got to talk about him because that's a pretty big one. Hunter is probably the only guy that I've ever heard of in life. Well, aside from smoking crack and getting on the energy board, how do you go from being a crack smoker to being on the board of Burisma Holdings? You know, I'm going to get to the whole thing with Larry Sinclair, but I'm seeing people discredit Larry Sinclair. This is the man who says he had relations with Obama back in 1999. They're trying to discredit him, talking about, oh, he's a con artist. He's a crack smoker. He doesn't have any teeth. They're trying to discredit him, but nobody bats an eye on that side when Hunter Biden is a crack smoker with messed up teeth as well and goes to Burisma Holdings getting paid $50,000 a month. Nobody bats an eye. Okay, so that's totally fine. You could be a professional crack smoker and go to Ukraine and become rich beyond imagination, and there's nothing there. Not only can you be a crack smoker, go to Ukraine, get rich, you can also buy your gun illegally, lie on the background check, and you don't even go to prison. Listen, do you know that lying on a background check carries 10 years in the penitentiary just for that offense alone? Not for possessing the weapon illegally, not for discarding it illegally, just for lying on your background check. That's 10 years in the penitentiary. Big rocks, little rocks, right? Can I get a few big rock, little rocks in the chat from the emojis, please? If that's you, that happens. But if you're Hunter Biden, you get a diversion, plea deal, you get all kind of, preferable treatment. That's okay. But Larry Sinclair says him and Obama had a little menage, a little tryst back in the day. Oh, he's a crackhead. He don't know nothing. Really? Is that how we going to do? Thank y'all for the big rocks, little rocks. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. Shout out to Duke Raul. I appreciate you. Judy Davis. I cannot pronounce your name right there. Morrigan. Shout out to Morrigan. But yeah, that's happening. So I have a video right here about Hunter. Speaking about Hunter, to keep on the same page, let me just read some of this right here. I'm going to just read some of this caption. Breaking: Hunter Biden to be indicted on gun-related charges. Because remember, he was going to do a plea deal, right? He was going to do a plea deal, and there was going to be no prison time for the gun charge, a federal gun charge. Listen, I don't care what color you are. You could be black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe, any color in this world. If you get a federal gun charge, you're going to the penitentiary. Off top, you're going. It doesn't matter. They don't care about nothing. You're going to the penitentiary. But Hunter Biden, no big deal. Federal gun charge, tax evasion, 1.2 million, Let's do a plea deal, and it's going to be just fine. But no, the plea deal fell apart because the judge, and shout out to the judge, brave judge, because when you're going against political figures, it's easy to get deleted. That's why I thought that Larry Sinclair had been deleted. Just like I think that the guy who died in the accident in the water might have got deleted, but I don't know nothing. I'm just talking. I don't know nothing. There's no, I'm not saying it did happen. I'm just saying it's suspicious. Anyway, the DOJ announced that Special Counsel David Weiss is set to pursue an indictment against Hunter Biden on gun-related charges. Hunter Biden had initially entered into a deal involving a gun possession charge, which, if adhered to, would have shielded him from prosecution over a 24-month period. Now, what that means, from what I know, and if anybody is a lawyer in the chat, if anybody just knows more than I do, I think this is the immunity deal that they wanted, which would have prevented any other charges from being levied against him for other things. Because, understand this, he's still under investigation. I think for the whole 10 for the big guy thing, he's still under investigation. So they were trying to get the immunity deal to prevent any pending investigation from returning a future charge on him. It's like getting a get out of jail free card. So not only were they trying to get him no jail time, no prison time for the gun and a tax evasion, they were trying to give him a get out of jail free card for any future crimes that he may be charged with. It's like, what part of the game is that? So basically, if I go into Quickie Mart, Walmart, Target, wherever, with a mask on and stick it up, I get caught and I get charged. I talk to my lawyers and say, hey, man, you know what? Well, look, I might have stolen my gun. The gun might be stolen, but check it out. Let me get a plea deal. I don't want to go to prison for the robbery. I got caught on camera, no mask, bare face. I got caught on camera doing it, but I don't want to go to jail for that. And the gun, they don't want to go, they shouldn't go poking around and find out that the gun was stolen from Iowa somewhere. So I want to get immunity from that. You would get laughed. Listen to me. You would get laughed out of the courtroom. It don't matter what color you are, nothing. But if you're a politician or their son or wife or something like that, it's totally fine. You can do that only in the banana republic. But let me keep on going. I'm getting triggered. So, however, the plea deal unraveled in court and the fate of this arrangement has remained uncertain. According to the Speedy Trial Act, the government must secure a grand jury indictment by September 29th at the earliest. The special counsel's office is pushing to meet this deadline, aiming to bring formal charges against Hunter Biden. Now, here's my question. If the deadline is not met, then what? What's going to be the penalty? What's going to be the result? Is the case falling apart? If that happens, that'd be the biggest clown show I've ever seen in my life. That'd be worse than the attempted plea deal if they are not able to get a grand jury convened by that time. In response, Biden's legal team is expected to submit their own filing by the end of the day, setting the stage for what could be a significant legal battle ahead. How do you think this will play out for the Biden family? Well, we're going to see if David Weiss is really about that life or if he is not. Let's check out what they say right here in this clip from Commie News Network, aka CNN. All right, let's get a little bit of sound. That might help. Shout out to the RP headphone users.
And there's more breaking news just coming into CNN right now. The special counsel, David Weiss, intends to seek an indictment against Hunter Biden relating to gun charges by the end of the month. That according to a new court filing. Biden had previously reached a deal involving a gun possession charge that would have allowed him to avoid prosecution if he met certain conditions over a 24-month period. Once his plea deal, though, fell apart in court, the future of the gun deal has been in limbo. And there's more breaking.
So that's what they got from CNN. So yeah, I mean the whole Hunter Biden thing, we're going to see by the end of the month. They said September 29th, that's a deadline for the grand jury to be convened. September 29th. We'll see what happens. If the grand jury doesn't get convened, don't even be surprised. Don't be surprised. It'll be disheartening for sure, but surprise should not be your reaction. Not in the least bit. Not at all. Okay. And I got quite a few things going on here. I got quite a few videos. I have some topics that I've not covered that I think will be videos. So y'all hang tight for that. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, where are we going to go back here? We get to Larry Sinclair shortly. Let me see. Okay. Matter of fact, here's a good one. Here's some good stories, some good quick hits. So Enrique Tarrio, speaking about going to prison and things of that nature. Now, remember, Hunter Biden was keyword. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen now. It's kind of up in the air, kind of up in limbo. Hunter Biden was facing no prison time for a gun charge and tax evasion, 1.2 million in taxes, and the federal gun charge for lying on the background check. And now I presume there's also charges for possessing a gun illegally while you're under the influence of drugs, because there's plenty of videos of him smoking crack, handling the firearm. That's illegal right there. And then discarding it illegally behind the dumpster or wherever in Wilmington, Delaware. Those are charges right there. Federal charge. You can go to the federal penitentiary on that. Now, he was facing no jail time. Enrique Tarrio, on the other hand, one of the Proud Boys leaders, is facing, I think, like 22 years in the penitentiary. Here's a video of him being arrested. Okay, we don't need the music, though. Like, what is that all about? So that's Enrique right there. Proud Boys leader. Now, this is really confusing. Let me see if I can find an article right quick, just so I can get the exact number of years down. It's really confusing because the reason why he is being arrested is because he they're saying January 6th, right? Seditious January 6th. Hold on, I'm gonna read the actual headline here. All right, let me go to Politico right quick and pull it up. Now, this says Enrique Tarrio, Proud Boys leader, on January 6th, sentenced to 22 years for seditious conspiracy. All right, and then it says the sentence is the lengthiest among hundreds arising from the January 6th attack on the Capitol. All right, now, can we just talk for a minute? First of all, Enrique Tarrio is a known Fed. Enrique Tarrio is a federal informant, like a documented federal informant. Now, whether or not he was an informant at the time when he got arrested, that remains to be seen. But Enrique, he is a Fed. You're right about that, Base Coins. Yes, he is a Fed. It's well known. It's not a secret. I've met him before a couple times. Cool guy, regular guy. But definitely a Fed, 100%. And I think a lot of the Proud Boys and people around him were also Feds. I mean, kind of like looking back on it, I've seen these guys in person. Some of them are regular people, but some of them are Feds. It's just like the whole thing in Florida, right? The Glowie march. You had the guy Boneface and the other guy that was crying, the cuck that was crying. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Sorry for the vulgarity. I apologize if you get kids watching. But most of these guys are going to be Feds. Quick tip before we continue with Enrique. If you are part of any group that is considered, I'm not saying it is or it isn't, if you are part of a group that's popular, well-known, and considered to be white supremacist in nature, you will have Feds in the group. And I'm willing to bet it's mostly Feds. If you are known about at all, you may not even be that popular. But if you are known at all, any kind of online presence, if you make any kind of waves in your local area, there will be Feds watching you, and there's probably Feds inside the organization. 100%. I've seen him at some events where it wasn't even like a white supremacist type situation. I seen him at, when I was going to the White House for with Turning Point and with Blexit and some of these groups, I was seeing some of those kind of sketchy characters in that. When they had January 6th, I already knew what was going to happen to a certain extent. I knew that there was going to be some bad actors and feds in the mix that were going to start trouble. I already saw it coming. I got invited to go to January 6th. I was like, nah, I'm good, because I know that it's not really a controlled environment and you're going to have bad actors. But anyway, back to Enrique Tarrio. Enrique Tarrio, 22 years in the penitentiary. Let's go back to the headline. He was sentenced for seditious conspiracy for January 6th. Now, before January 6th, on January 5th, he was nabbed up by the feds. Understand this. He went to D.C. before January 6th. On January 5th, the feds picked him up specifically. The rest of the Proud Boys were allowed to continue on and be on the ground on January 6th. Enrique was not. He was not. They got him the night before. So they knew that Proud Boys were coming. They knew that there was going to be some problems. They knew that Enrique was there. They got him. Now, here's my question. Why would they get Enrique the night before and then allow the Proud Boys to still go to January 6th and then arrest him and get him convicted for conspiracy for January 6th, although he literally was not there on January 6th because it got on the night before? Right when that happened, when I found that out, I'm like, okay, they're getting their asset out the way. They know it's going to be problems on January 6th, as did I to a certain extent. It was easy to see. So they got him before anything popped off. My thing is, if you're building a case against him, just let him go out there and do it. So then you have more fuel. Did they get him off the street because they figured if he was there, it'd be worse? I don't understand the whole logic behind it. But regardless of what, he was known to the feds. He worked with the feds, and he was arrested by the feds before January 6th. But yet he's getting the largest, the largest sentencing out of everybody involved. 22 years in the joint. Why? Yeah, Miss Madam says, wait, he was already nabbed, but he's guilty? Yes, correct. They got him the night before. They got him on January 5th, 2021. Look, you're not going to go. They knew everything that was going to go on. So this is what I'm talking about. You have school shootings, things of this nature. And what happens? Without fail, they'll say, oh, well, the local authorities knew him. The federal agents knew him. They went to his house, all this, that, and the third. It makes me think that some of these things are set up, or they're just allowed to happen. They're allowed to happen. I mean, the federales will come out and admit that they will allow certain criminality to take place so they can build a case against you. They'll be watching you for a certain period of time, let you do certain things, and then once the case is built, they throw the book at you. Okay, Mr. X, Y, and Z person, Mr. Enrique Tarrio, we've been watching you for the past 10 years. We saw you here. We saw you there. Here's pictures. You were doing this. You were in the hotel room with X, Y, and Z. And that girl you were with, we sent her to you. She was in the room. She took pictures. We have the pictures. So here's your crimes you're going to be convicted of. Go ahead and plead guilty, because ain't no point in trying to fight it in court. You're not going to beat it. That's how they do. Yeah, hey, Michael Critchlow, shout out to you for the super chat. Michael Critchlow says, feds watching ABL live twice a week. Yeah, shout out to the federales. Hey, shout out to y'all. Good people, right? Personally, I'm a very smart person. I don't engage in no kind of criminality. I'm squeaky clean. You know what I mean? I'm just here doing my thing. And I don't even speak improperly about certain things. Allegedly, I don't know, perhaps, my opinion. So can't nobody say nothing about nothing. All right, so that's what it is about Enrique. So we're going to see how the whole thing plays out, how anybody else. There's a lot of people that are in prison that should not be. And my thing is, if Enrique is being charged with seditious conspiracy and he wasn't even there, Your man Ray Epps is literally on camera saying, hey, let's go into the Capitol. He's literally on camera saying, let's go into the Capitol. But yet, there's no problem with him. And then, if you or I suggest that he get arrested out of a sense of fairness, then we are somehow wrong. We're somehow like playing whataboutism. It's like, huh? What? We want there to be a fair justice system, the same as everybody else, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on. Now, some of us have a skewed sense of what fair is, but I think most of us watch and understand what fair is. If you're going to have person A be convicted of a crime for doing this, then person B, who did that same thing that person A did, either should be convicted as well, or they both are not convicted. Either they both are convicted or nobody's convicted. That should be the way it is. But that's not the way that things play out in the USA right now, unfortunately. And that's just what it is. But yeah, shout out to the federales watching. I appreciate y'all for being here. Yeah, NERN says Fed's only Bitcoin in the comments too. Exactly. You know, exactly. Brother Pro-Light, I saw that. Free Brother Pro-Light, free R. Kelly. Them dudes are going to jail forever. Brother Pro-Light is not coming home no more. I'm going to look into that story. I've been hearing about Polite for many years. First of all, I heard about him being a scammer. And then now this whole thing about the child abuse and things of that nature. I'm not going to get into that too much right now because I don't know a lot about it. Maybe if I can get a story, I'll read it. But I digress. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. Now, there is Laura Loomer. You guys may or may not know who Laura Loomer is. And by the way, I've met everybody in this movement before. I met Laura Loomer. It might have been the same time I met Enrique Tarrio, or right around that same time. It might have been 2019, 2020, probably 2019. And that might have been in Miami, I think I met Laura Loomer. I believe so. But Laura Loomer is a journalist. People want to cast her away as crazy and a nut job, all that and the third. But she's pretty smart, pretty sharp, if you ask me. Now, what she's been exposing is that a lot of what you see with the so-called Nazis and whatnot all over the place, especially down there in Florida, where you had the guy with all the tattoos on his face and the guy crying about his wife doing X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third. A lot of these so-called Nazi groups are sponsored by the government. Remember Gretchen Whitmer? I'm going to talk about that right quick because that's going to kind of underline what I'm saying. That's going to underline my whole point. All right. So Gretchen Whitmer, before we get to Laura Loomer and the whole thing with Boneface and Christopher down there in Florida. Now, here's an article, I think, where's it? Chicago Sun-Times. It says FBI's tactics doomed case against men charged in kidnapping plot of Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. And the headline, it says, the appearance of entrapment and the difficulty of distinguishing between fantasy and criminal conspiracy explains the embarrassing outcome of the federal trial in which jurors acquitted two alleged conspirators and failed to reach verdicts for the other two. Now, let me explain what happened. So there was a so-called, I guess you would say, white supremacist group. They want to call it that. I'm not quite sure what it was, but the federales and the media probably want to call it that. But anyway, this group was plotting to abduct, to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer, Michigan governor. And the problem is 90% of the group was feds. Literally, they were feds. They were either outright federal agents or they were federal informants. I think it was like 20 guys and 18 of the guys were feds. Literally, I'm not making it up. Literally, out of 20 guys, 18 were feds. Only 2 were regular normies, just morons basically get caught up in it, thinking that, okay, I'm going to join this white supremacist group and it's going to be all above board, no feds. It was all feds. The whole point of the group was to entrap people and trick them into getting caught up. You know that it's really bad out here when you got to hire fake white supremacists to get gullible idiots to join to get sent to the penitentiary. And it was so bad, a federal case fell apart. Do you know the federal clearance rate is like 98%? 98%. But there are not enough of these people that they say there are to even mount a convincing case for a jury to convict. It's crazy. Let me see if I can find the actual number of people that were in it. I think I remember they said it was 20 guys and 18 were feds. Real talk. That's why they just said only 2 people were even on trial. Or it was 4. Okay, so they acquitted 2 and did not reach verdicts on the other 2. All right, so that's just what it was. Let me see if I can go here. Federal agents, FBI informant. So these are the guys, I guess, that were about to get, these are the guys that were getting charged but did not get convicted, I suppose. But yeah, so basically what I'm saying is this. If you ever see so-called Nazis out in the street just walking around, exposing themselves, going by name, they're not real. You might have some guys that could be kind of real in the mix, but generally they're not. Real white supremacist guys, you're not going to see. You're not going to see these guys. Any kind of outward group is feds. So when the media are talking about, oh, these guys are threatening, these guys are not doing, nah, that's not. It's just like homeless people. I'm making a comparison. I'm not trying to say they're all homeless. I'm just making a comparison. If you see a homeless person in a patch of dirt and filth, like, for example, in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Kensington, if you see them outside in a patch of filth, screaming at nobody, airboxing, doing a dope fiend lean, these are drug addicts, okay? 100% drug addicts. If they have mental problems, it's fueled by the drug addiction. These are 100% drug addicts. Now, you could be homeless, but you don't see them out there on the dirt patch. You don't see them acting the fool, flinging whatever they got from their body, any kind of body excretion. You don't see them like that out there. You know, you probably won't even know they're homeless. They're going to be in their car, off in the corner somewhere. Maybe they have an RV over there. You're not going to see them just out acting the fool in the middle of the street. Like that lady in San Francisco with no clothes on shooting the pistol. That's not what your regular normie homeless person does. Okay? That's just not it. You're going to see a regular normie homeless person in a Toyota Corolla or something like that stretched out. You're not going to see them on the ground like a pig in filth. That's just not what they do. But I digress. You understand what I'm saying? If you see people outside waving flags, sick howling, white power, feds all day long, 100%. And if they're not feds, they're a bunch of idiots about to get locked up and they're about to get college football numbers. TCU versus Colorado, 45-41, 75-28. You're getting those kind of numbers in the penitentiary. But anyway, let me see if I can find the thread from Laura Loomer about the federales and Ukraine, because there's a Ukraine connection here. And this is part of the reason why, just a part of the reason why I don't like giving money to Ukraine. Because, first of all, we need the money here in the USA. And as a matter of fact, hold on. I know I'm getting kind of sidetracked, but I got a video right here queued up. We're giving money to Ukraine, and these Nazis, literally, we're helping the Nazis in Ukraine. And watch this.
For Ukraine not only to survive, but to thrive, we're also supporting its efforts to rebuild from Russia's aggression. At the Ukraine Recovery Conference held in London a few months ago, I pledged that the United States would invest more than $520 million in making Ukraine's energy infrastructure, more than half of which has been destroyed by Russia, cleaner, more resilient, and more integrated with Europe. We're making new investments to enhance the transparency of Ukraine's institutions and to bolster the rule of law so that Ukraine's democracy is even more responsive to the needs of its people and can attract the private capital needed to rebuild. We're engaged in assisting the government of Ukraine on anti-corruption efforts and on efforts to ensure accountability and full transparency of all the assistance we're providing, as well as the security of U.S.-provided defense articles and technologies. For Ukraine.
So you see what's going on, right? You see kind of what's happening. We're giving so much money to Ukraine, it's crazy. So we're going to give $520 million right there for green energy. Green energy? I'm talking about green energy. It's like, I mean, all that's going to do is go toward the people that live there and their kids and everybody else. They're going to take that money. All right. Hold on. Matter of fact, I got something right here for you. You ready? All right. It's not really adult, but she has on like a bikini and stuff like that. Okay. You're going to understand what I'm talking about when I play it. Let me go ahead and just rock it right here. Okay. This is from Simon Atiba. He's was a White House correspondent, a White House reporter. Now check it out. The caption: the daughter of Alexander Sapon, the head of Ukrainian draft board in the Chernihiv region, posted a video of her vacation in Los Angeles and Miami. All right, let's not have the sound. Anybody got time for that? So, okay. You know what I mean? We out here living. We out here in LA, Miami. I mean, I love to go to LA, Miami, be on the boat with the Ferris wheel in the background, with my hair swinging in the wind. I love to do that. Yeah. Let me get on IG, put my arms up in the air, do these random weird poses. Yeah. Let's do it. Now, here's my question. Where is the cash for this trip coming from? Huh? Y'all tell me. Y'all just give me just a wild guess where it's coming from. If one red cent of my taxpayer dollars went toward this, I am furious. I am fuming. With the fury of 1,000 suns, I'm fuming. Listen, you can go to Ukraine since it's so great and have a vacation right there. Go to Odessa and be on the boat right there. Okay? Oh, yeah, Kanye about to go crazy, ain't he? Kanye, that's his next conquest, ain't it? You about to go to Ukraine and get one of them. But anyway, so yeah, kind of hot. I mean, a little bit, kind of all right. If you're into that, if you're into the IG model type situation, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm not into is my taxpayer money going toward it. All right. I'm not into that. That's not what I'm into. I'm not into taxpayer funded Instagram models. That's not my cup of tea. If you like that, that's fine. But I digress. So let's continue on and get away from that Ukrainian Instagram model who's funded by your money. Let's go to this right here. Laura Loomer. Check it out. She says, exclusive Laura Loomer investigation. I've conducted an investigation, and I believe that for the sake of national security, public interest, and now my own personal safety, I need to immediately release and publish what I have uncovered about the United States government's involvement in recruiting violent American Nazis, white supremacists, and domestic terrorists, and turning them into mercenaries and confidential informants in Ukraine to fight against Russians and kill civilians. Now, there's a lot here that I could read. I'm not going to get into everything right now, but this is part of what she was posting. This is the guy Boneface from the video out there in Disney World in Orlando, Florida. All right. Ukrainian passport, also Ukrainian citizen out there fighting in Ukraine for Ukraine as a literal Nazi, part of their Nazi organization, the Azov Battalion. We've said that for a long time. The Azov Battalion, it is what it is. All right. Now, we can get into some video of these guys out there in Florida. But the main thing is, a lot of these guys, it's kind of like Suicide Squad. You guys ever seen Suicide Squad? You know the plot of the movie or of that whole series. So the plot is you have criminals behind bars that have powers. Skip the powers part. They're criminals behind bars, right? They're allowed to have a reprieve to go and do a job. Maybe they get time off for their sentence. Maybe they get something. I'm not sure what it is. But they are in custody, and then they're allowed to go do certain things for the government, basically. That's what's going on here. You see the march out there in Miami. I'm going to pull it up right quick. most of these guys had their masks on, but a couple of the guys didn't. The guys that did not have masks on, they wanted you to identify them because they do have backgrounds that are legitimate as far as being involved in white supremacist movements. But also, these guys have ties to the feds. They have ties to the feds. So that's part of it as well. Let me keep on going here and get to some of these things. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Let me go ahead and get it rocking. Okie dokie. So these videos are pretty funny to me, actually. Well, not all of them, but some of them you're going to see. I got to play your man crying over the woman and all that good stuff. I gotta play that. All right. So there we go. Let's get it queued up that way. So remember, I played this video here of the Glowies at the march.
White power! 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 White power!
If you see anybody outside doing this, this is law enforcement. This is law enforcement. Just understand, law enforcement. At least 80%, bare minimum. At least 80% law enforcement. Either these are direct federal agents or informants. Anybody doing that? 100%. The actual white supremacist guys do not go outside publicly recording themselves doing this. Masks or no masks. This is law enforcement.
Vote for Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, Ron DeSantis. 2024.
At the end of it, it's like, yeah, vote Ron DeSantis. I mean, you couldn't be no more obvious. Like, hello, fellow racist. How do you do? Ridiculous stuff, right? Now, check it out. One of the guys, hold on, before I get to him, I gotta show you a man. But I gotta find the other video where he was talking, trying to be all aggressive and everything else. Hold on, because I almost forgot about that one. That's a pretty important piece. But that's the man, Christopher Pohlhaus. Now, Christopher Pohlhaus is, I guess you would say, a legitimate Nazi, so quote unquote. But the question is, what does that really mean? What does he actually do as a so-called legitimate Nazi? What does that really mean? I'm going to show that video right quick. And we're going to keep on rocking. Christopher Pohlhaus. There we go. Let's find him right quick. Yeah, Christopher Pohlhaus was hilarious. All right, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So one of the groups, there was two groups out there, right? It was GDL, Goyim Defense League, and then there was Blood Tribe. Now, the guy, Christopher Pohlhaus, has the group called Blood Tribe, and I think he's active in Maine in the so-called white supremacist scene. Now, what's he doing in Maine? I'm not really sure. You trying to go out there and just wrangle up sheep in the mountains? I don't know what's happening, but anyway, this is him right here. Now, can I just an elephant in the room? Some are saying that there was a difference between this and the other video of him in the car crying about the girl or whatever. They said his tattoo was on the wrong side. I think it's just the camera, because if you're using your selfie mode on your camera, it might flip the image, but I think that's still, it's correct. Like right here might be like a regular DSLR, but in the cell phone is a different kind of camera. So it's a reverse, it's a flipped image. Let's check it out.
Christopher, there's a presidential race going on right now. Are you going to vote in 2024? What do you think is going to happen?
My vote is useless. I think Biden's better than Trump because he sends rockets to Ukraine.
Okay, so there you have Christopher Pohlhaus right here with the tattoos on his neck, on his face, the obviously swastika necklace, and right behind him is what's his name? I forget his first name, so I don't want to say the wrong thing, but they call him Boneface.
In support of Ukraine, you mean?
Hell Ukraine, hell is up.
And he said Slava Ukrainia, because this guy back here with our tattoos on his face is an actual Nazi who was recruited to go to Ukraine to fight for Ukraine against Russia as part of a CIA operation. 100% fed. 100% proven, documented, obvious Fed. Him too, probably. Now, he may not be a Fed, but I think he is. Again, these guys have their mask on, glasses on, so you can't see them. But these guys are out front, no mask on. This guy got on a weird vest. I'm not sure what that's about right there. Like, what kind of other things are you into aside from the Nazi movement, sir? What do you do on the weekend? I don't know. Let's check it out, though. All right. This is him right here again in his vehicle crying about his wife.
Just from like fun, flirty texts to like nasty in a couple days. So I know what's happening, and I'm not dumb. And it's not even like, look, I don't care about my wife. She can.
Okay. I'm going to pause it right there because he said something a little bit inappropriate. He says she can do whatever she wants with other men. That's what he said right here. And at the beginning, look, watch this. He's literally wiping tears away. Listen to me. I'm being told by the mainstream media that I, as a black person, got to fear the so-called white supremacists, the Nazi or whatever. I'm not afraid of federal informants. I'm not afraid of law enforcement. Okay. I back the blue. Number one, I'm not afraid of law enforcement. And number two, I'm not scared of guys that get on camera and start crying. It's like, look, if you got a problem in your life, okay, we all go through things. We're all men. We're not machines. We're not robots. But what you're not going to see me do is turn my camera on to start crying. I'm not going to do it. I done seen plenty of girls do that on TikTok. Boo-hooing. It's like, yo, at a certain point, did you take one and take two? I mean, on the first take, how were you able to cry so much and continue it on takes 2 and 3? How many takes did it get until you got the crying angle and face right? I'm going to show a video of that right quick, of the crying. But it's cringe when the young ladies do it. For a so-called big bad Nazi scary guy puffing your chest out, crying, and your wife is out here with other guys. Now, I'm willing to bet that these other guys, and your hands are, you got small hands too. Your fingers are super stubby. It's like, like you see my hands, right? Why would I be afraid of this guy with them hands looking like little smokies? You have little smokies for fingers, sir. But anyway, I'm acting up. I'm not going to be afraid of this guy drying tears from his face, talking about his wife. It's just not really doing it. I'm not getting the fear in my heart that the media says I should have. Not for a guy like that. Not for a guy like that, man. I mean, come on, big bad Nazi guy. Why are you crying? If you go to prison and act like that, you're going to be somebody's girlfriend. You will be someone's wife. Okay? And your wife might get a thing for the brothers. That might be why you're racist. Or what do they call it? Cosplaying, LARPing as a racist. Anyway, I digress. I want to show a crime video right quick of what I'm talking about. Then we're going to keep on rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yeah, Little Smokies. Hold on. Y'all ever seen Little Smokies? I gotta give you guys an image. I know I'm kind of bouncing around, but it's fine. I'm gonna get right back to where I was. All right, so if your fingers look like this right here, I'm not really too intimidated. I'm not too intimidated. I'm not, again, the fear is not really in my heart. I'm sorry, man. All this white supremacist stuff, whatever. Whatever. It's just not really there. But I'm gonna keep on rocking here. And if you guys like what you're hearing so far, y'all know what to do. Please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. But yeah, the crying videos, I'm not really a big fan of. It's like, look, okay, everybody got to cry sometimes, I suppose, but you can do that off camera. You don't got to turn your camera on for that. There's no need for that. You can easily just, here it is. Like, okay, stuff like this. I'm like, man, what are we doing here? Hold on. Is there music? Hopefully not. Okay. So this person says, I've been listening to this song, but this one hits me so hard. 30 years old, no husband, no child, no family yet. And we'll get to that in a minute. Crying. I'm talking about the whole face wet, slobbing and everything. It's like, ma'am, why are you looking right in the camera doing this? I don't get it. Do that kind of activity off camera. Like, must we record everything in our lives? So if she's doing that and the big bad Nazi guy doing that, I can't tell the difference. They're the same to me. You might as well put on the same lace front wig she got on and do something else. Become part of the LGBT. Go the Bruce Gender route and do that. But anyway, I'm way off topic, so I digress. Let's keep on going here. We got a lot more to talk about with the Glowies. We got to get into Boneface, and then there's another guy we got to get into as well. This guy is part of the GDL movement, or the leader of it. This is the guy Boneface. All right, so his name is Kent Boneface McClellan. He was arrested by the federales in Florida for domestic terrorism in 2012 in May. The federales said he and others were preparing a terrorist act against national minorities in Florida. He then fled to Ukraine to join Right Sector, a creation of the CIA, in 2014. In 2022, he returned to Ukraine and was reportedly deported. Now he's back in Florida, where he's active in the local Nazi scene. Yesterday, he was on I-4 with a group of Nazis who were saying they support Joe Biden because they're waving swastika flags and shouting slurs at me, Laura Loomer, because she's Jewish. There is no way you can get away with all of that after being arrested by the FBI for domestic terrorism, and there's no way you can get away with traveling to Ukraine to fight for a foreign war as an American citizen, defected mercenary, unless you are some type of FBI or CIA informant. Correct. You can't just go over to Ukraine, fighting the war after you've been arrested by the feds for domestic terrorism, basically. You're not going to be able to make that. You can't do all that and fly under the radar. It's impossible. You are on a permanent list, and you're not hard to identify, Mr. Boneface, all these tattoos everywhere. You're not hard to identify. You're on a permanent list. Wherever you go, whatever you do, the feds are going to know about it, 100%. So if you're allowed to be out there in Florida, sick howling and doing all that nonsense, they know about it, and they are allowing it to happen.
Slava Ukraini, Boneface here. I'm not much of a, not really quite used to doing the webcam thing, but you know, it's worth a shot, you know. So I'd like to apologize ahead of time for any sort of inaccuracies or anything.
So that's him. You see the Ukraine flag with the Azov. See that right there? It says Azov. So we've been talking about that for a long time on this channel. Azov Battalion. These are literal Nazis in Ukraine, literally. And these are the guys fighting the Russians. We're literally funding Nazis in Ukraine. But I'm told that I am to fear these guys. But if I'm to fear these guys, then why am I funding them? I don't understand. It makes no sense. Is the enemy of my enemy my friend? Is that how it goes? I don't know. And who's the enemy? I can't tell. Now, here's something else. This guy, there's another group called GDL. You had Blood Tribe. That was Christopher Polehouse, the cuck dude, right? Now we have GDL, Goyim Defense League. This thing is led by a guy by the name of John Menadeo. Now, John Menadeo is a failed rapper who goes by the name of Shubi Da Wop. I am not making this up. That's spelled SHOOBIEDAWOP. Shubi Da Wop. John Menadeo, a so-called white supremacist, right? Now, let's read some of this, shall we? So he's a Nazi, leader of the Goyim Defense League, goes around calling people the N-word and harasses Jews in public. Is that that guy that goes around saying N-word, N-word? I think I've seen him before on some of these streams. Anyway, He's a scorned, failed rapper who decided to become a Nazi when his rap career failed. He was a rapper by the name of Shubert DeWap. This is a video of him rapping. You can even hear him say that his name is Menedeo. Who is paying this failed rapper to live as a Nazi? He was given money to fly to Poland, and he was arrested for waving Nazi symbols at Auschwitz. Goes all over the country and the world doing these things. Who's funding this activity? Coincidentally, the ADL has an entire page on their website about Menedeo. You know what I think? Maybe the guy, Menedeo and others are funded by the ADL as a boogeyman. Oh, the Nazis are really real. See, here's a guy right there. We pay him to go to Poland and do that, but he's a real Nazi. That's my opinion and that's just my assumption. All right. So here is some of your man's rap. You ready? You ready for his rap? You not? No? Okay, I'm gonna play it anyway.
Cooler than an icicle, ride him like a bicycle, threesomes on tricycle. The sex is phenomenal, but boobies are bionicle. Some find it comical. If you don't believe me, you can read it in a chronicle.
That's your man right there. That is another scary Nazi. Now, we didn't see these guys. We saw one guy crying, the little short finger guy, fingers like this, like half fingers. The half finger guy on camera crying about his wife, wiping tears away, sniffling and snotting and everything on camera, like a 13-year-old TikTok girl. Now we got this numbnut, this guy making corny raps, failed at that, and a thing a little bit more diabolical here is that he is also an alleged pedophile, okay, an alleged child groomer. So he was on this app called Omegle. I've not used it before, so I don't know how to pronounce it. You can talk to people online randomly, and he was on there talking to an underage girl, and he was trying to convince her to become part of the Nazi movement. He pulls his shirt up to reveal a Nazi tattoo and is communicating with her. So guys like this, I mean, this is like the scum of the earth. Snitches, guys that's abusing children, guys that's crying on camera, N-word, racist. These guys, again, if they go to prison, if they don't get deleted in prison, they will become somebody's girlfriend immediately, because people like this are the scum of the earth. Guys that smoke crack and abuse children. It's just like, ugh. You have levels of criminality. People like that are just scum. Total scum. All right. But again, I'm to fear these guys? No, absolutely not. All right. But I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, a different story, a little teeny bit more lighthearted. He probably was wearing makeup. I can't see your name right here, but he probably was wearing makeup. Okay. But anyway, I'm switching gears away from that ridiculousness over in Florida, but I'm going to stay in Florida, and I'll explain. So this guy, have you seen this guy before? This guy was trying to do a version of the whole submarine thing, but not really. So let me explain what happened. A Florida man, shout out to the Florida man, a real Florida man, not no racist, LARPing, snitch, federale, but this guy faces federal charges for attempting to run across the Atlantic Ocean in a floating hamster wheel. Ray Reza Baluch, 51, was arrested after a 3-day standoff near Tybee Island, Georgia. That's right by Savannah, right? If I'm not mistaken. Just 70 miles into his planned 5,000 nautical mile journey. The USS Coast Guard intercepted the attempt on August 26, but Baluchi refused to leave the wheel, claiming that he was armed with a bomb and a knife and would delete himself before allowing them to arrest him. So that is the vehicle right there. And that is a real picture of the hamster wheel. Now, I have questions. Why would you get arrested for this? Can you not do that if you want to? Now, I understand the safety part, but if you're able to get into a submarine which was the jankiest submarine ever. They drilling TVs into the actual hull of the submarine. You got to get dead bolted in. They had stuff from hardware stores, not even up to code or spec for that level of descent. If they can do that and charge people and have a website, then why can't this guy get in the hamster wheel and roll on over to UK or wherever he wants to go? All right. Now, is he going to make it? I doubt it. A hamster wheel, 5,000 miles. I mean, I doubt it. You got on the wetsuit. You're going to have to pull that off at a certain point and hit number 2. Like, I don't know how you're going to do it, but you should be able to attempt it. I don't know why he got federal charges for that. But, hey, he was, and he's tried to do it before. He did it in 2016, and they said, hey, don't do it. Why would they give him federal charges? I don't understand. It's weird. It's totally weird. Yeah, a game controller. That's right. Speaking about the submarine, if I can go down to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean and look for the Titanic wreckage in a glorified tuna can, then why can't I float across the Atlantic on the surface in a hamster wheel? Freedom is freedom, right? Okay. Passport. He probably had a passport on him. And then also, you can go to a lot of these countries like UK. Well, I'm not sure about now, but if you can, you could float there on a little raft or one of these raggedy boats they still have from back in 1960. You get on one of those and go to UK. They'll allow you to get on. You go to Italy, a lot of these Mediterranean countries, you can go there from Libya, hop on the boat and go across, and it's all good. So, yeah, if it's one storm, and you know what? There are quite a few storms out in the Atlantic right now, if I'm not mistaken, like hurricanes, not just storms, but actual hurricanes. If you've ever been through a hurricane, like on land or in water, but definitely on land, it's no joke. Get caught up in a hurricane, man, please. That hamster wheel going to be all over the place. It's going to be all over the place. That thing going to be up in the air. Yeah, he won't make it. But you should be able to attempt that voyage, I suppose. But maybe that's just me being, a freedom lover. All right. Now, in today's episode of Please Homeschool Your Children, this is something from the TikToks. Now, these are your teachers. All right. And you're seeing this all over the country. It's not just relegated to big cities. I don't know where this is specifically, but it's everywhere. It's red states, blue states, everywhere. And I think what happened, before I get into the actual video and what she's doing, and her shirt says Plants Against Gender Norms, and there's LGBT stuff everywhere. It's to the point where there's not even enough room. It's not enough real estate in the classroom for actual educational materials. You see, where the pride flag is should be a map of the world, perhaps, some kind of reference material. When I was a kid, and I'm going to be old man Logan, old man ABL, shaking fist at cloud. When I was a kid, in a classroom, we had the handwriting reference chart on the wall, a world map, reading lists, stuff like that we had on the wall, reference material, so you will always see it. All right. When I would see the chalkboard, I'm looking at what's pertinent to the actual lesson, to education, not to propaganda. This is in the 90s when I went to school. In the 80s too, like late 80s, like 88, 89, I started going to school. But definitely 90s. That was my school career. So I graduated high school in 2002. So the 90s, that was my time. What's happening right now in 2023, unrecognizable. Unrecognizable. All right, let's check it out. So there's music. I might turn it off, but it says, the caption says, things in my high school classroom that just make sense. And she's doing some kind of dance to the music, some kind of hand dance. All right, and I'm gonna turn that sound off because I know it's gonna be copyrighted, but there's her chair and there's a pillow that says kindness matters, and the kindness is in black. The pillow is white, the kindness is in black, and the matters is in the LGBT colors. And the T's look like there are two people together. All right, not crosses, of course, because that's not that'd be banned in a classroom like this. Rainbows, pride flag, all kind of extra rainbow propaganda everywhere, toys, rainbows everywhere, yarn rainbows. Oh my goodness, do you see this flag? I hate these people that do stuff like this. So this flag is a pride flag with a big BLM fist in the middle with different black and brown colors. I hate that. They have literally co-opted the black pride and black movement for LGBT. They've literally done that. And the people that would support the center part of that, not with the pride, with that, they're totally silent. They're not saying a word. All right. And then where there should be reference materials, you have rainbow affirmations: smart, brave, capable, welcome, important, accepted, enough, strong, loved. And the loved is in the trans colors. And then it says art by deaf and queer artists. Student drawings, more student drawings, inclusive and inspirational posters. Okay, it's all kind of just random stuff. We can do hard things. I feel like that's kind of different. But anyway, holiday lights. Can't say Christmas, can you? Mental health wall. Okay, so that's what your modern classroom may look like. Now, is every classroom like this? No. But this can happen. This virus can happen anywhere. Anywhere. Wherever you are, it can happen. I told y'all my story before about I kind of got a taste of this when I was in college, and that kind of made me leave college. This was 2006 or 7. It probably was 06. I can't really remember. But I'll tell you my story again if you've not heard it. If you heard it, then you're going to hear it again. So I'm an artist, like an actual visual artist. I don't rap or sing or anything like that. I'm talking about I could paint, draw, sketch, whatever. Any kind of medium, charcoal, watercolor, regular, like paint, whatever. I can do all of that. And I still have some of my art skills a little bit, but it's limited. Anyway, so I'm going to TCC, Tidewater Community College. I graduate, it's fine. And then I go to Old Dominion for a year. My goal was to get a 2-year degree and then transform it into a 4-year degree, have my bachelor's degree and be done. So I could just pay half of the cost, because it was always a plan. They kept going to my high school and they said, hey, you can do 2 years here and transfer, go to Old Dominion, do other 2 years, and you're good to go. You'll graduate, half of the cost, no problem. But it was a scam, different story. Anyway, I'm an art major basically, and I'm trying to go to the next level at ODU when I transfer. I think it was called Art 3. I think you had Art 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the deal was when I graduate from the community college, I could skip past Art 1 and 2 at ODU. I go right into Art 3, then I take Art 4, and I'm done, because it's 2 years. Art 3 1 year, Art 4 the next year. So I try to go to Art 3, and you got 2 white guys, liberal guys that are probably married or something like that. These are the gatekeepers of the art program. I have to submit some artwork to prove that I can go to Art 3. Now, I mean, I knew I was good. I am a talented artist. In my class at the community college, I was the best, except for one lady who was already in advertising, and she was like 40-something years old. I'm like 20. I knew I was good. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying. I knew I had good artwork. I worked very hard for my artwork. I present my artwork. What it is, it's a vector illustration that, I drew on the computer. I used my mouse and I drew this illustration. It was like 8-bit, like video game graphics, had a bunch of little Marios and Koopas and all kind of stuff like that on it. cannonballs, and it had little 8-bit guns on it. I drew everything by my hand. The guys look at my artwork and say, well, we're not really comfortable with the content of your artwork. It's like, excuse me? I was told to submit artwork that proves my level of ability, that proves my skill. It's the guns in the artwork. We don't like the guns. I'm like, really? Cartoon guns you don't like? I'm talking about, if you ever played the original Mario Brothers, it was like that. 8-bit, obvious cartoon graphics. Cartoons. So less realistic than Yosemite Sam, rack environment. Less realistic than that. Obvious, it was a theme. It was 8-bit cartoon retro graphics. We don't like the guns. So when I saw that, you got these two LGBT men married to each other, blocking me because they have an anti-gun political narrative. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. And that kind of thing right there is now amplified in classrooms. I've heard young people call the show and they'll tell me that if they have a different political narrative and it's known at all, they get punished by their professors. If they write certain things in the paper they're assigned and the political narrative does not match what the professor wants, they'll get punished for that. You shouldn't really be political at all. And no, really, you shouldn't be political at all as a professor when you're talking about grading papers. You can have your own political opinion, but grading paper, if I'm asked to write a paper about a thing and then I do that and you're judging me based on your political opinion, now we got a problem because you're affecting my grade. And I saw some of that when I was in college. I came in at the very beginning of it, I think. And it's been downhill ever since. It's been downhill. So yeah, that's my story right there of academia being trash and being inundated by this woke mind virus. And it's gotten to the point where it's out of control nowadays. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. It's right. They got triggered by art, King Chris. Triggered by art. Yeah, Thomas Garment says, I need to go in the more Basquiat direction to be accepted by art school. Exactly. I could have done that. You know, black guy, art school. I could have done that. Just made trash art and be like, okay, this is great. If you don't like my art, I'll pour milk on you. If I was to shoot heroin or something like that, I'd be totally fine. But having good, actual, clean, smooth, beautiful artwork, that's not really the thing that they want. They want you to smoke crack and then present your art that way. Anyway, let's keep on rocking and rolling here. We got a few more things going on. Oh, yeah, Basquiat was definitely a heroin addict, but I don't want to go down that road right now. The artwork was so fake. I also saw that when I was in school. It's fake. They'll say that artwork that sucks looks good. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best artist in the world. I was, for graphic design and what I was doing, for my application, I was one of the best in my class, but I wasn't the best when you're talking about murals and that kind of stuff. I had my niche that I was good at. I was good at what I did, and I showed that to these guys. But as far as some of the other stuff, that wasn't really my lane. But some of that stuff would suck, and they would say it's good because of the artist and what they actually go through, rather than it being based on merit. That's kind of how that is. But let's keep on rocking here. We got a few more things going on. Oh, Larry Sinclair. Can we go there? Speaking about the art world and LGBT, Larry Sinclair. Now, Larry Sinclair, this guy, and by the way, the full video is out. We can watch some of this a little bit. I won't play the entire thing. But Larry Sinclair has been around for a very long time. I remember him back in 2008 campaign cycle. So he was around in 07 talking. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to try to find an old video of Larry Sinclair. Because people may think if you're a young person, maybe back in 07, you were a little kid. Maybe you were 8, 9, 10 years old, not even born yet. You don't remember this. But I remember very well. I remember very well what was going on. Hold on. Matter of fact, let's watch this right here. So Larry Sinclair is a man who says that Barack Obama and himself fornicated back in 1999. Now, this was when Obama was a senator from Illinois. Okay, remember, he was a U.S. senator in Illinois, and then he went from there to becoming the president in 2008. But Larry Sinclair met him allegedly back in 1999. He did not know who he was before the meeting, and that's what he stands by. But let's check it out right quick. Let's check out what he said back in the day. Hold on, here we get a little bit of sound.
In regards to the Obama incident, I flew out of Colorado Springs, Colorado to Chicago on November 2nd, 1999, arriving in O'Hare early in the morning of November 3rd.
Yo, I'm just saying how he's explaining this. It sounds very natural.
But why would you make up something like this?
Right.
Why?
To do what for
right.
you?
I mean, exactly.
But I do.
Okay, I mean, they kind of reacting to it. I didn't really want that. I just wanted him to talk. So that's him back in the day. So my point behind showing the older clip is that he has been saying this for a long time. Now, here's my thing. If somebody said for 15 years throughout, like he started saying it back in like 2007, he's still saying it right now in 2023. If somebody's been saying that ABL did X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third for that long, I'm going to do one of two things or both. First, I'm going to deny it. Second, I'm suing. You're defaming me, sir. That's called slander. I did not smoke crack. I was not in no limo with you fornicating. I was not doing that. I'm not gay. I am a heterosexual male. You are defaming my character. Your reputation harming me. I'm going to sue you. You won't smoke no more crack. You won't, be doing no more drugs, no more fornicating, because you're going to be spending all your cash on legal bills and paying me because you said something about me in court in the public eye. That's wrong. But Obama has never, ever responded, never sued him, never done anything. And also, we had a letter from Emory University where Obama wrote to his former college girlfriend saying that he dreams and fantasizes about fornicating with men. But he says it's only in his mind. He doesn't go to the physical. It's only in his mind. Again, the letter is at Emory right now. There's been no response from Obama, no denying it, no suing of the lady that put the letter out, because it was a girlfriend. The girlfriend gave the letter to Emory. They have it. It's authenticated. It's right there. No response. And then there are other things, right? The guy that died on the paddleboard, young, handsome, muscle-bound, dark-skinned guy. So he is your sous chef in the White House. And after you're done at the White House, hey, come live with me and my wife. Pretty interesting. I'm going to ask you this question. Here's an interesting question for you guys, because there are also female chefs, right? There are also female chefs. So what if Obama said, hey, Katie, you're a great chef. Come live with me and my wife. Would that work? Listen, here's a question to all the married guys out there. If you were to ask a female chef to come live with you and your wife, like full time, hey, come live with us, would she go for it? Huh? You tell me. And then there was the body man. Remember him, Reggie? Remember that guy, the body man? Hold on. Let me see if I can find him right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Reggie Love. Yeah, remember him? Body man. What is a body man? All right, hold on. Here's a video from a recent article. It's pretty interesting. Remember this guy right here? A body man. What's that? Now, before I play this video, some are going to say, hey, ABL, why are you getting into the weeds of rumors and allegations? Well, look, check it out. The left does this all the time. Why must we always try to take the high road? I'm through with that. They put Christine Blasey Ford on the cover of Time magazine. Brett Kavanaugh assaulted me. Brett Kavanaugh did not assault that woman. There was never any evidence. He denied it vehemently. There was never any charges, never a conviction. He had an alibi, a diary, witnesses, all of that. Nothing, but they still said that he did it. All because they were trying to fight the Supreme Court nomination. They sure did. And then about Donald Trump. Are we forgetting about what's happening right now with the indictments? Remember, the first indictment that sparked everything was about Stormy Daniels. Yes, it was. Stormy Daniels. Did he assault Stormy Daniels? Did he do anything negative or bad? Say is that it was a moral failing, perhaps, if you are talking about marriage and monogamy and things of that nature. But he didn't do anything illegal. Okay, they fornicated, and then that was it. It was no assault. It was all voluntary. The only thing that happened that is the legal issue is that they're saying that Michael Cohen paid her off, so she not say anything, and then Donald Trump allegedly paid him to compensate him. I'm not sure how that's illegal. But again, they got him on a criminal indictment because of that. So look, if they want to play like that on the left, then why not bring up Larry Sinclair? Why not? Oh, he smokes crack. Hunter Biden does too. Hunter Biden smoked crack and was able to get a plea deal that was going to give him no time in the penitentiary. So I'm not trying to hear it. But anyway, this is Obama's former body man, Reggie Love.
I'm Susan Page, Washington Bureau Chief of USA Today, and this is Capital Download. We're in our D.C. Bureau with Reggie Love. He was Barack Obama's body man during the 2008 campaign.
What is that? Can y'all? Because I wasn't watching the chat. What is a body man? It looks like that's his boyfriend. It looks like that's his boyfriend. But hey, I'm not making no allegations. I'm just saying.
And then in the White House, welcome to Capital Download.
Susan, thank you for having me today.
You have written a book about this experience. It's out Tuesday from Simon & Schuster.
Hey, you know what? Can I say something right here? Can I be a little bit different? I think your man has a type. You know, he has a type because when he was younger, it was the white guys, right? I don't know. But now it's like the dark-skinned black guys because the young man that died looked similar to Reggie Love a little bit. Probably a little bit more muscular and buff and whatnot, but same phenotype, you know? And that's kind of how it goes. Like a lot of the biracial light-skinned guys, like dark-skinned guys. That's kind of how it is.
Titled, Power Forward, My Presidential Education. Now, reporters used to call you Obama's chief of stuff. What's a body man do exactly?
It's really one of these positions where, you know, you handle whatever task is there because you're traveling, there's not a lot of infrastructure, and, you know, sometimes problems arise and they need someone to try to figure it out. And, you know, but the most important thing that a body guy does is make sure that the candidate and their body is able to continue to campaign. So they need to make sure they've eaten meals and have the right attire and, you know, have a coat for the days that it's cold and make sure that they have all their proper paperwork, kind of like a walking office. You know, everything from Sharpies and paper clips to Tide pins and, you know, hand sanitizer.
Okie dokie. So there you have it. Now, I've never heard about any other president having a guy like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I've never heard about Slick Willie or even Joe. Joe don't know what's going on. Joe be all over the place like a dreidel spinning around. He don't know what's happening. I've not seen a body man with Joe Biden. Maybe the body man is Jill. I don't know what's going on. I mean, Obama was married too, and he had kids, so it's just kind of weird. All right. So my thing is, look, if somebody is into males as a male, look, that's their business. That's not really truly my business, honestly. But the thing is, it's the lying, it's the deception, and also, if this was Trump, listen to me now, hear me clearly. If this was Trump, and the allegation was that Trump had some kind of illicit affair with a man, the media would not rest. The media would not rest. That's all they would talk about incessantly. So I'm not trying to give them a pass on this. And again, these are all allegations. All allegations. I'm just saying, at a certain point, you got to put two and two together to get four. Put 2 and 2 together, you might get 4. Now, let's check it out a little bit. So that was Obama's quote-unquote body man, Reggie Love. I've never heard about a body man before or after that one. All right, let's keep on going here. To your man, Larry Sinclair. I'm going to play some of this right quick.
In retrospect, it's pretty amazing that Barack Obama got as far as he did. In 2004, the summer of 2004, Barack Obama gave the keynote address at the Democratic Convention in Boston. And when he walked to the podium, probably only a small percentage of people in the room knew how to pronounce his name.
I remember that very well. 04, I remember that very well.
He was totally unheard of. No one knew Barack Obama. At the time, he was a state senator in Illinois. 4 years later, he once again spoke to the Democratic Convention, but this time as the nominee. Meteoric doesn't begin to describe it. How did this happen? Well, the outlines are fairly well known, though rarely talked about. A small group of Democratic donors, mostly in Chicago, decided that Barack Obama was their guy. He was the vessel for their ambitions. They paid for his campaign. They paved the way for his rise. He spent 2 years pointlessly in the United States Senate preparing to run for president in 2008, and of course, in the end, he won. But the question was, who was this man? Where did he come from? What did he spend his life doing before he became president of the United States? Well, the news media, whose job it is to answer those questions, spent the entire 2008 campaign trying to keep you from knowing the answers. By Election Day, most Americans knew only one thing about Barack Obama, other than he was handsome and a good communicator: hope and change.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh man, that set the whole world on fire. Hope and change. Oh, that was crazy back then. That was a different kind of time in this country. That was most certainly a different time. It really was.
But they knew nothing about him, his origins, what he believed, and legitimate questions about those facts were turned away, as they often are, with the claim, "That's a conspiracy theory. You're crazy. Shut up." One of the most interesting moments in the 2008 campaign occurred when a man, like Obama himself, came from out of nowhere to recount his experiences with Barack Obama, the man. His name was Larry Sinclair, and he told an amazing story. He said that in 1999, he had encountered Barack Obama in Illinois, had sex with Barack Obama, and then used cocaine with him. Sinclair went on to make these claims publicly at the National Press Club in Washington, to sign a sworn affidavit, and to take a lie detector test. But he was dismissed. In fact, he was attacked. Obama shills like Ben Smith of Politico batted the claims out without refuting them. They're absurd. And the rest of the media followed suit. But the claims weren't absurd.
Now, one thing about it, the claims were dismissed by others, but not Mr. Obama himself. And again, these are just claims, just allegations, but they were never addressed or dismissed by Mr. Obama. And again, if it's me and these are false allegations, we're going to court. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you to oblivion.
We're not claiming they're true, but they were certainly credible. This was a first-hand account of Barack Obama's behavior by someone who was willing to sign a sworn affidavit to that effect. So the question is, whatever happened to Larry Sinclair? What's his life been like since? That's an interesting story. It turns out Larry Sinclair is still alive. He lives in Mexico. But today, he's in our studio.
Mexico, huh? Very interesting. Mexico, interesting. So man, they can't do no Day of the Jackal type situation on Larry Sinclair and delete him. Interesting.
And we're happy to have him. Larry Sinclair, thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, I'm not going to play the entire thing here because it's like 40 minutes long. This is Larry Sinclair. He's been around for a very long time, talking about himself and Barack Obama and their encounter back in 1999, many years ago. This is not new news. I showed you a clip from him many years ago. Now, something I want to say. I thought he was dead. I mentioned Larry Sinclair in the previous video about the letter that's in Emory right now. And I thought he got deleted. But no, he is still alive. Right? It's like watching the ghost, kind of. Because I thought for years that he got deleted. But nope, he is alive.
Where did you meet Barack Obama?
It was by accident. I was in the Chicago area in '99 for Lee Duke's graduation from the Naval Academy.
Who's Lee Duke?
He's basically my godson.
Okay.
I had hired a limousine service.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you live in Chicago then?
No. I was actually living in Colorado. I had flown in the night before.
Okay.
So I had hired a limousine service, had made the driver aware that if Lee couldn't leave the base, because once they graduate, some of them actually get their assignments and they're shipping out and they can't leave the base, that I was still interested in going out. And had asked the driver if he knew anybody that was available that might want to show me, Chicago. And he said he did. So
well, who was the driver?
His name was Jameer Multani. It was with 5-star limo.
So you're just a guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party, actually.
Yeah.
That's what you're really saying.
Yeah. Well, I was in town for a few nights, but yeah, I was definitely looking to party. And
did you make that clear to the driver?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There was no misunderstanding.
How direct were you about that?
Extremely.
Extremely. Okay.
Yeah. There was no doubt what I was looking for.
Okay.
And he picked me up at my hotel in Gurnee and drove into Chicago, pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama.
Let's pause it right there. The rest of this will be over on X, formerly known as Twitter, on Tucker Carlson's page. Matter of fact, you go to my page. I got it. I reposted it on my page from Tucker's page. You can check it out right there. There's also an article on my website about this particular interview. It's embedded in the article as well. So you can always find this interview. It's like 40 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing here. But he gets graphic right here talking about Mr. Obama and how they were in the limo doing whatever they were doing, using the cocaine, and Obama smoked crack. So, I mean, I don't know what it is about politicos and cocaine and crack, but good grief, somebody, you know what? When they found the cocaine in the White House the other day, a few weeks ago, I'm like, it can't be anyone else's other than Hunter Biden. But was Barack Obama there? Could it belong to him or somebody around him? Who knows? I have no idea. I'm just asking, kind of spitballing. And then something else. We know that Mr. Obama was a chain smoker of cigarettes. He was a heavy smoker. I mean, did he also put a little bit of, little something extra in the cigarettes? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just asking. I am just asking. What they call that? Bunk? Did Obama smoke bunk? That's crazy. But anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. But yeah, some say that we shouldn't talk about what's going on because we shouldn't talk about what's going on because it's just rumors, it's allegations, and things of that nature, blah, 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 blah. I'm like this, man. Look, if it was anyone else talking about Donald Trump, if it was Larry Sinclair talking about Trump in the same way, they wouldn't let it go. They're talking about Russia incessantly. So forget that. We're going to keep on going. We shall keep on going. But anyway, we got more to talk about here. Oh, Matt Walsh. I want to talk about Matt Walsh right quick because this kind of a social issue. Now, Matt Walsh got in trouble because he said something about this young lady on the TikToks. Now, I think what Matt Walsh said was correct, but people saw it. People interpreted what he said a different kind of way. I think people who have been married for 30 years and don't understand what's happening in these streets may see it one way, but if you're out here, you kind of understand what's going on. You understand exactly what's happening. Now, I'm gonna play this video for you guys right quick. Hold on. All right. Yeah, Matt Walsh. Shout out to Matt Walsh. I like Matt Walsh, though. I like the What is a Woman series. I like what he talks about a lot of times on Daily Wire. I like Matt Walsh. He's a good conservative voice, 100%. But see, some of the social things we talk about on the conservative side, a lot of conservative people are kind of in their own little world. They don't understand what's going on. Like, you might have, let's say, a Dennis Prager. Now, well, he might be a bad example, but I don't know, a Sean Hannity. These guys in the 50s and 60s, been married for 40 years. They have no idea what's happening in the world of a single person in their 20s. They have no clue what's happening because why would they know what's happening? They have no idea. They don't even know what their kids are going through, really, let alone what to live in the life of somebody that's that age. Now, me, I understand exactly what's going on. I know everything that's happening. They don't. So when you see a video like this, your perspective will often dictate your reaction. Now, he posted this video from some young lady on a TikTok. She has a podcast talking about her life as a 29-year-old. And his caption says her life doesn't revolve around her family and kids. So instead, it revolves around TV shows and pop stars. Worst of all, she's too stupid to realize how depressing this is. Now, I thought that was an out of bounds comment. And I think he totally missed her point. Because again, I think Matt Walsh been married for a long time, got kids. He's living the normie matrix life. He has no idea what these streets are. He has no idea what's happening out in the streets. None whatsoever. Because how can you? If you're inside the matrix pod and you got the stuff on, you don't know what's going on. And then when somebody comes to get you out of your pod, you're shocked to realize it, and you might not want to believe it. You might want to just take that blue pill and eat that goodbye to Matrix steak and go back to what you were doing. But let's play the video, then we're going to react.
It's 10:45 a.m. on a Saturday. I am 29 and single, and I don't have kids yet. Here's what your Saturday morning looks like when you're single at 29 and you don't have a kid running around the house. I didn't rise from my bed until 10:15. Every time I thought, I should probably get up and do something. I thought, why? Nobody's making me. I'm not missing out on anything. I went to Beyonce last night, and I didn't get home until 1 a.m. And I danced and drank my little heart out, and I didn't pay a babysitter to watch my kids as I did that. And I woke up a tad hungover this morning, which is probably why I was in bed for so long. And I was just scrolling on my phone and I saw a picture of shakshuka and I thought, you know what sounds really good? Maybe I'm gonna learn how to make shakshuka today. Because I have no plans and I don't have kids and I don't have a husband and I don't have errands to run. I can go to the grocery store and learn how to make shakshuka. So that's on my agenda today. Also on my agenda, probably a rewatch of some Real Housewives of New York. I'm also doing a rewatch of Normal People on Hulu, which is really spicy and I highly recommend. Weirdly, I'm into this documentary on Netflix about blue zone countries. So I've got a pretty stacked day. Anyway, I say all this to say, whenever I'm hard on myself about why I'm not married and I don't have kids and I should be further along at 29, almost 30, I wouldn't want to do anything else this Saturday. And I know that you can do all these things when you have kids and you're married, and I understand, but the effortlessness and ease of my life, just kind of focusing on myself and the shakshuka I want to make or the Beyonce concert I want to go to, really pays off when I'm hard on myself for not being where society tells me I should be in life.
Okay, so that's her. Now, this video was really interesting. The comments were interesting. But see, here's my take on it. Some saw her as trying to brag about not having children and being 29 years old and trying to promote that as a good lifestyle to have. Some saw it that way. Now, I saw it differently. What I saw this as is her talking to people that's in her situation saying, hey, don't rush. The life you have right now, just find ways to enjoy yourself. I'm trying to find a good freeze frame. As good as it's going to get, whatever. She's trying to say, hey, if you're 29 years old, you're a woman, enjoy your life you have right now. Don't try to rush, because here's what happens. And from my experience, this is 100% facts. A 29-year-old woman who is single with no kids is going to rush to try and get the life that she dreamed like she wanted as a child. Because every little girl, or most little girls, they dream about what they're going to do when they become an adult. They dream about having children, having a family, having a husband, having a house. So if they reach 29 years old and they don't have it, now they're panicking. Now they're going to rush. Now they are more prone to make really bad decisions. So here's what can happen. And I've seen it happen over and over and over and over again. I've seen it with my own two eyes. They're 28, 29, 30, which is because they're 29 years old, and in their minds, they think, I'm at the end. The party's over. I had fun in college. I had fun in my mid-20s. I got a little bit of a career going on, but my career is not all that. I don't have any kids. I have no prospect for a husband. Now I'm going to rush. So here you come, Mr. Man, got his life together, about 32 years old, and you find her, you like the way she looks, whatever it is, and she is giving you all types of rhythm. You're like, wow, this is great. We're going to get married and have kids. But what you don't know is it didn't matter who came across her path, really. All you got to do is meet certain little qualifications and she'll take you. She'll get married, have one, maybe two, maybe three if you're lucky kids. But it'll be over in about 5 to 6 years, max. So then now you got to deal with child support, alimony, divorce, splitting of the assets. You didn't buy the house. You didn't buy the cars. You didn't commingle funds. Okay, joint accounts, all kind of dumb stuff like that. And the most important thing is the kids. Now you got a custody battle. You're going to be in court every year for years, 18 years. How many guys then tried to put the pistol on themselves because they had to go through a divorce? So look, my point is this. She's trying to tell these young girls or women that's her age, don't rush. Because if you do rush, it's going to be bad. So a guy like Matt Walsh may have that kind of reaction because he's not the guy that would get trapped up by a woman like this if she's not cognizant of the fact that she shouldn't be rushing. Listen, 29 years old, you have no kids, you have no husband, you're not married, you've not been divorced. She's actually in a good position. Just don't rush. If your person does not come to you, it's okay. But you don't want to, look, it's worse to rush and just find some random schmo on the street and get married and get divorced in 5 years than it is to remain single and no kids and unmarried. It's much better to do what you're doing right now. Now, in the ideal world, we wouldn't be so infantilized as adults. You see what I'm saying? Back in my parents' day, you get married at age 18, straight out of high school. Age 18, get married. So then by the time you get to be 40 years old, you got a college graduate and grandkids already. But now people are waiting until they get to be 40 years old for their very first child, and they might only have one. Back in the day, you had 2 or 3 or 4 kids and got married at age 18. You got married at 18, had your first child at 19, 21, 23, 25, and you were done. Now, you just getting started at age 35. You have an in vitro, all kind of stuff. So people don't understand the reality of what's going on. And what she's saying is, quite frankly, normie activities. Now, here's something else. People said that she used to work at Tinder, so therefore she's like a degenerate. If you think Tinder is degenerate, you have no idea what's going on out here in this world. You have no idea what's happening. You are in the matrix deep. If you think Tinder is normie, Tinder is like the MySpace or the Walmart of dating apps. There's a lot of apps out there that you don't know about. There's a lot of apps that you don't know about. You may know about the gay app, Grindr, stuff like that. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about some other stuff that will completely shock you. I'm not going to snitch, so I digress. The point is that Tinder is the most normie of normie apps. It's the most popular dating app in the whole world. Look it up. I'm not making it up. You think because you met your girl on Christian Mingle, that's still around, or a Hinge, that you better than a Tinder. It's all the same. The same girl you're going to find on Hinge will also at one point be on Tinder and Christian Mingle and eHarmony. It's no difference. It's literally no difference. These are all normie apps. There's some other stuff I won't talk about right now, but and And the other things, they're going to be there too. So my point is, if you are a normie and you've been married for a long time, this video may be kind of disturbing to you. But this is what's happening out here in the world. And quite frankly, she's like actually doing pretty good. A 29-year-old, a lot of times, may have been divorced already, using the kids in the child support battle, maybe doing drugs, all type of stuff. She's going to a Beyonce concert and drinking. That's super regular, vanilla, normie activities. All right. Somebody said adult friend finder. That's hilarious. I mean, what are we going to talk about next? A chat line, 1-900-GIRLS. Not adult friend finder. That's crazy. That is straight. But see, my point is that this is really normal. What she's saying right here is actually pretty good. All right. It's actually good. Now, here's her response to, because Matt Walsh said what he said, and then she got attacked by some critics in the comments.
Hi, my name is Julia and I'm 29 and single. Yesterday, someone named Matt Walsh decided to repost a TikTok video that I posted to his 2.4 million followers on X, formerly known as Twitter. And the way that his followers bullied me in the comments, reached out to me on social media, threatened me, was honestly abhorrent. Some of his followers said that I was gonna die alone. I should actually die and never leave my house. I should be sexually assaulted. I'm pathetic. I'm a whore. And that I was dead behind my eyes. Honestly, that one kind of made me laugh because I use Kosas concealer and I thought that it was working. No, but really, if you haven't watched the video, I suggest you watch it. It's all about how I, a 29-year-old single female, decided to spend my Saturday watching reality TV, learning how to cook shakshuka, and sleeping in until 10 a.m. And these people were really, really, really riled up about my choices on a Saturday. But here's the thing about social media. While it can be a really crazy place, which I experienced yesterday, it's a place where there's content for everyone. Here's who I'm creating content for. I'm creating content for people who are taking their time creating the lives that they want for themselves. Because it's the life that they want, not something that society has deemed correct. People who are feeling anxious in life because they haven't met their person yet or started a family, aren't rushing or settling to meet someone because some internet troll is telling them that they're gonna die alone. And you know what? There's a 40 to 50% divorce rate in the US. And I believe that figuring out who you are first and foremost and meeting your partner at that point is going to decrease that divorce rate. And if you're lucky enough to have the family and friends and support that I do, none of us are going to die alone. And I believe that we're all going to meet our people, and we're going to do it living life by our own terms. Life's too short to be living life figuring out what Matt Walsh wants us to do, or what some internet troll behind their keyboard is saying. If anyone is wondering, the shakshuka I made was delicious, and I'd love to share the recipe if anyone's interested.
Okay, so shout out to her. Now, a lot of you guys are like, hey, what shakshuka? First of all, Google is your friend. I promise it is. I looked it up just now. I'm going to show you guys what shakshuka is, because that's like number one question. It's not about, hey, you know what? That's an insightful video. What shakshuka? Let's show it, shall we? We're going to show what shakshuka is. I looked it up for you guys because, you know, I'm generous like that. I'm gonna use Google for you. Let's check it out. So shakshuka is spelled the way that you would think. SHAKSHUKA. Shakshuka. It is a easy, healthy breakfast recipe in Israel and other parts of the Middle East and North Africa. It's a simple concoction of shimmering tomatoes, onions, garlic, spices, and gently poached eggs. It's nourishing, filling, and one recipe I guarantee you'll make time and time again. So that is shakshuka right there. Okay. Breakfast with eggs and garlic and spices and things of that nature. Okay. It's very popular in Tel Aviv. So shout out to all the Israelis and all the Middle Easterns and North Africans, Algerians and Libyans and Moroccans and everybody else that might eat this particular dish. Okay. It looks kind of good. I might have tried one day. Go to one of these little boutique restaurants and pay about $85 for that bowl right there. It might be a good idea. So yeah. But here's my point. I mean, is there a lie? Did she lie right there? She's like, look, the goal is to have the American dream that everybody wants. Everybody wants to have the house, the kids, the cars, and all of that at age 25. Everybody wants to be a millionaire. But guess what, though? The divorce rate, 50% in this country. So obviously, we're not all going to have that. That's the goal. But what if you don't have it? Then what? How are you going to live your life if you don't have it? Now, we all want to be a millionaire. We all want to be rich and famous. But the reality is that the median household income's like 55, 60,000 in the country. So obviously, most of us are not going to be rich and famous. So if you're not, then what are you going to do? How are you going to live? What will your life be like if you don't achieve the ideal situation is the question. And she's saying, hey, you can find happiness in your life if you don't have what you want, if you're not in the place you want to be. But don't rush. That's the main thing. Don't rush. Yeah, kids ain't for everybody. Marriage ain't for everybody. And you don't want to rush because rushing will make things worse. Again, I'd rather her have 45 cats and live by herself than to find some poor sap that thinks that he is the love of her life, have 3 kids and get divorced and create all kind of chaos, and have that guy delete himself after she takes the kids away from him. You see what I'm saying? You got to think a little bit deeper. If she has 45 cats, then great. At least she's not ruining people's lives by rushing and trying to find a thing that she doesn't really want, at least not in that situation, at least not in that context. Live life for yourself. Whatever makes you happy, do it. As long as you're not violating other people's rights, violating laws, live life for yourself. I learned that a long time ago, to live life for myself rather than trying to live for other people. And once I did that, my life became a lot better. I stopped trying to please other people and live life for others' expectations. I do things that make me happy. I respect everybody else and their opinions and their boundaries. I'm not trying to violate anybody's personal space, but I got to live life for me. It's simple. So yeah, shout out to her. I mean, she might have 45 cats in the crib at one point, but I'd rather you have 45 cats and try to feed them than to be having a bunch of kids. I did a video about this family vlogger, Ruby Frank. That's coming out probably tomorrow. Now, that isn't an example of trying to live up to society standards. You may do that on the outside, but what's really happening behind closed doors? It could be a house of horrors. Anyway, I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got super chats on deck. I'm going to read those right quick, and then we get to the calls. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And let's get to the supers. Shout out to Judy Davis, who says, finally received my 2-year star. Proud member of the ABL family. Thank you for that. Shout out to the heart emoji as well. Shout out to WV Woman Marine for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Michael Critchlow, who says, Feds watching ABL live twice a week. There you go. Thank you to Monique Price, who says, random question, but would you ever post a photo of your old artwork? I want to see the Super Mario project that triggered those advisors. I would do that. You know what? I was trying to find that particular piece of artwork, but I can't find it. But if I do find it, I'm going to post it up for sure. I will most certainly find it. And I know I had kind of a meltdown. Not a meltdown, but I got frustrated with that school. So you know how art students have the big portfolio with them that they carry like a big suitcase? It's real big. I think it might have been like a 3x5 foot. It was big. But anyway, I had all kind of artwork in there. I had oil paintings, pastels, charcoal, had a little bit of scrimshaw type stuff in there. I had all kinds of stuff in that portfolio. But one day I got frustrated with what was happening in the school, and I just left. I left my portfolio right in the hallway and just walked away. Because I hated how pretentious the artwork was. I hated how they were scamming me at the college. I just hated it. Had all my stuff and left. I regret doing that. I had some good artwork in there. Really, really good artwork. Beautiful. 24x36. My favorite piece was this flower I did in water. It was oil pastels. It was beautiful. Beautiful artwork. I just left it. But I was like, at the time I was like 19, 20, just being young and crazy. But anyway, shout out to Rebel Without a Reason, who says Obama was the richest person ever to sit in the White House. And thank you again to Rebel Without a Reason for becoming an ABL squad member. Thank you to Michael Critchlow, who says if there was ever another reason to boycott Bud Lights, it's because Bill Gates just bought 1.7 million shares, 95 million of Anheuser-Busch. Seems like a giant PR campaign. Will you cover the story? I might cover the story, and I did see that. And you know what? I think what happened is that he bought that because he's buying the dip. You see what I'm saying? There was a big campaign against Bud Light, therefore Anheuser-Busch. So the stock price dropped, and he thinks that he's banking on the fact that it'll go back up after the controversy dies down. They'll probably do some PR work to fix it, do some commercials, get some celebrities on board, and it'll rebound. That's probably his thought process. So he's just buying it. He's just trying to make money. That's all. Okay. You could definitely make money in the stock market game for sure. Stocks, that's a really good way to make money. Probably better than real estate, but that's a different story. Miss Nikki says, ABL, they thought they did you the same way the bank manager did JJ on Good Times when he made that mural. I remember that. James Evans told that dude he was going to shove him in the night deposit box. Hilarious. I remember that very well. Shout out to JJ. Rebel Without a Reason says, did you cover or have you heard about the Liberty Safe incident? I did hear about that. I'm going to cover that. I'm going to record that video tomorrow. That might come out on Friday. But yeah. So Liberty Safe, the Liberty Safe company, they gave the FBI codes to a customer safe. So what happened with that, briefly, before I get to the calls, there was a raid on the January 6th person, and during the raid, they got into the guy's safe because they called the company Liberty Safe and got the code to the guy's safe. I mean, that's crazy. Shout out to Apple for being more vigilant over your privacy than the so-called Second Amendment two-way, you know what I mean? Like Apple, when they were asked by the feds, hey, can we get a back door to the phone? They were like, no, we're not going to do that. They got more your privacy concerns at heart than a Second Amendment supporting company, allegedly. But hey, yes, Jennifer, the safe company gave the feds the code to the safe. I mean, ridiculous. So yeah, I will cover that story for sure. That's on my list for tomorrow. All right, let's get to the calls here. You guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. There's also an email for Skype in the bottom left-hand corner of it's an email in the description box, but you could be right here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen talking about whatever's going on in your mind. It is all good. Let's go. All righty, Matt, what's going on?
Anthony, what's going on?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
I'm staying busy. I don't see what the big deal is really about this Larry Sinclair thing. I see it as kind of a coming together, like black guy, white guy, everybody just getting along. You can cut rails or you can smoke it and it don't matter.
Right.
Obama's kind of a man of the people, Nope, am I too loud?
You got a weird thing going on with your audio. I'm not sure what's happening.
Oh, stand by. How's that?
It's the same. I can hear myself.
I can hear you a little bit. Sorry about that. Well, I don't want to wreck your show with bad audio. I want to point this out real quick. The whole reason why Barack Obama was in Chicago is because of the Church of Chicago, Sabud Church, and there's his dad on the website right there.
Oh, wow. Twin.
But to me, that's kind of a real scandal. I almost wish... So that Larry Sinclair guy actually signed an affidavit, by the way, and he took a lie detector test. a long time ago. And I think when he said in his original interviews as to why he came forward is because Barack Obama was a traditional marriage candidate. So President Trump was actually the first candidate to support gay marriage. And so when Obama was on the campaign trail and saying that he didn't, that's what inspired him to come forward.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Hey, I know my audio is messed up. I didn't want to hang you up. So, be good, man.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Yeah, that audio is crazy, man. You got that jet engine in the background. Now you got the aviation company. You got the airplane in the house. I mean, what are we doing? You got the airplane inside the room. But shout out to my man, Matt, for the call. Yeah, I didn't know that Larry Sinclair came out because Obama was against, at the time, gay marriage. That's interesting. And, of course, Obama became a proponent of gay marriage later after he got, a couple phone calls. Says, hey, man, come on, got to change it up. You got to flip the script now. All right, let's keep on rocking here. 918, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, ABL? It's JD Scotchman from Oklahoma. How you doing, buddy?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Hey, no, man, a lot. Well, there's a lot of things to talk about that happened in the last week. The only thing I want to mention is Larry Sinclair video that you did. And I saw that, and I'm like, wait a second. I think I know who this dude is. Like, I've heard of him before. And I'm not trying to promote my YouTube channel. I don't care. I mean, I don't make a YouTube channel to do anything, to make money or anything. So I just post like random videos and stuff. But if you were to like go to my channel and go to my videos and go down to the very bottom, you would see videos that I posted, one like over 5 years ago actually, of Larry Sinclair talking about all this stuff way back then. So it's been known, for a long time, for a long people, that Obama was into that stuff. And I don't know if you can see it or not. I mean, I've had it removed from YouTube. I've had to upload it several times, but I can still see it there. So, I mean, if you're interested in watching a much longer version of that, and he goes into specific details about everything, about how much they got the coke, they made some crack out of it. It's pretty crazy. So I just wanted to share that with you in case you or anybody was interested in seeing it. Like I said, an older video of Larry Sinclair saying the exact same stuff that he did on Tucker.
Right. Yep. He's been saying the exact same thing for a long time. He's been very consistent. So it's hard to really discredit his story, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. Why would you lie about it? What's he got to gain by making all this stuff up?
Right.
Nothing. But anyway, that was my main point I wanted to talk about. The 29-year-old girl that has no kids and no husband. Hey, that's what she wants to do. She can do it. I've got several friends that are my age that have been married multiple times, have multiple kids. I ain't got time for any of that drama. I don't want to pay child support and alimony and all that crap. Yeah, I'll just fill out with my cat. All right. Well, anyway, man, love you, dude. Love the show and everybody here. Have a good night, man.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, later, dude.
All right, yeah. Shout out to man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. But yeah, it's a crazy road out here with the relationship stuff. Like it's crazy out here. It's really nuts. So if she wants to just do what she wants to do, I say go for it. It's not really a big deal to me. Not at all. You've been married 11 times? Sure. Right. I really believe that one. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. 571, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
What's going on, ABL, VA all day, no matter where you stay. This Fragniac, man.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Ain't a whole lot, man. Hey, I think that's why Michelle Obama got Barack on. You know, she got him on that. That's pretty heavy. I saw your video and I was like, man, I thought Larry Sinclair was dead.
Me too.
I didn't know dude was still alive.
I had no idea. I thought he was dead for years, and then. Like, I saw the trailer on Twitter. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that Larry Sinclair? It didn't say his name in the trailer. I'm like, is that him? And people said, yeah. I'm like,
man,
wow.
why? No, go ahead, my bad.
Nah, go ahead. You good.
Yeah. Say, why he looks exactly the same, bro? I don't know what he's doing. He gotta be pushing 70, cuz.
Yeah, you gotta be up there for sure.
That's wild, man. Hey, look, I know the dude that came on, he said he did a lot of detective tests and all that other stuff. So I'm looking for the proof, man. And it is true. I mean, him and Biden weren't really for the gay community in the beginning. They weren't for all that, and then like you said, somebody did, push the envelope a bit and was like, hey man, you might want to go ahead and, change it up a little bit if you want these votes, and then that's when the whole movement started and everything. So I think all this stuff really started around that time, I mean, it came all the way back from Bill Clinton, but, very, very recently, I'm saying like, 2010 or whatever it was, kind of when everything started shifting a little bit and, things started happening with his campaign and things started seeming a little bit different. Cause I mean, everybody knew in the beginning. When Barack came out, they were like, hey, Barry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Larry probably know him as Barry. It was Larry and Barry. You know what I'm saying? It was the Larry and Barry show before Big Mike. But, I mean, it was just, his charisma and all that. I'm talking about Larry Sinclair, the way that he came out and he was talking about things. I was like, man, this guy's going to be missing in action very soon. And when I saw him on Twitter, I was like, dang, no way, bro. He didn't age at all. And, more power to him, man. I would like to, read his book. That would be pretty interesting. It would be funny if they saw some with Hunter in there too. They were all together. Maybe a little bit of George Bush in there as well.
Throw them all in there. Why not?
Yeah, man, why not? They were all at what is his name, Robert Bird's thing anyway. But yeah, man. So with the girl that was 29 years old and she was saying these things, I kind of see it from both perspectives, right? Like I had a child when I was 19 from a woman that thought that she was, maybe run out at the time. I mean, we were both in our early 20s at the time, and then stuff hit the fan. Court cases. I mean, for years, my child right now, she's 15 years old, right? And I have 3 other kids with my now wife that was talking the same job that girl's talking right now. And to hold off is, for anybody that's been through the court system, bro, like it is unrelenting and just vicious. Like they will bring up stuff from your past. They'll make you go down a road that you don't never want to go down. Like thinking things that you ain't never really thought about to not just the other person, but to the whole court system as a whole. It's totally changed my life forever. And if I had just waited, man, if I just held on. So anybody that's young that's listening right now, I'm saying young like under 30, right? I'm 37. Anybody that's young, bro, just hold on, man, for real, because that change is gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really gonna come for you. Just don't rush it, man, because whenever you force a fart. Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You go ahead if you want to. You think it's all gravy. You sitting in the car. Everybody's had a little scare, a little jump scare. I know the chat about to go crazy over this. I know somebody in the chat's lying. Somebody in the chat's lying right now. I know you had a little jump scare. Probably had it last week where you thought it was something, you know what I'm saying? And then it got a little hot. And you start sweating because, you might be around a few people that, might be able to smell it, you gotta cover it up. But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to say, man. Fantastic show. Callers calling in, chat going crazy, man. I love it, man. This is my Wednesday, baby. I appreciate you, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great call, though. Shout out to my man for the call. That's 100% correct. You force something to think is one thing, It might be a little something else. It's like, hold on, I ain't barking for all this now. This is a little bit too much. 215 in online. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, ABL. How's it going?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, ABL. So I am getting tired. See, I work in the black community, and honestly, I'm getting tired of them. The way they talk about Donald Trump, they talk about Donald Trump like he actually lives in their lives, like he's constantly harassing these people every day. And I look at black people, they be like, finally, Donald Trump is getting arrested. I'm like, listen, y'all don't ever have to interact with that man a day in y'all life. Y'all need to calm down. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. If he go to jail, he go to jail. If he don't, he don't. At the end of the day, y'all saying it like he done actively went out and murdered some black people. But the reality is they don't ever have to interact with them a day in their lives ever. Y'all don't have to live with that man. Y'all don't have to speak to him. But then y'all just upset about it. Y'all like, it's like they just will not stop talking about him. And over time, I get to the point where I'm going to just tell them, listen, I'm getting tired of y'all talking about Trump so much to me. Like, if they're talking about amongst each other, it's whatever, but it's like,
you there?
But yeah, I'm still here. I stopped talking so you could say something because I didn't want to keep talking over you.
You good, boss?
Yeah, but and what was another thing I wanted to bring up to you? But yeah, but it'll come to mind, or I'll just leave it in the super chat. But yeah, it's like the way like I said, I'm not a fan of Trump either. But Jesus, it's like this one person I talked to, they just randomly bring up Trump for no reason. I was like, okay, Trump's getting indicted. They said, finally, if that was one of us black people, we would go to jail. But Donald Trump, oh yeah, ABL, just remember, sorry, the war in Ukraine with Russia and Putin. A lot of people keep saying that Putin, if he takes over Ukraine, he's just going to keep trying to take over other nations one by one, and America has to stop it. What do you have to say for that?
It's so silly because, I mean, there's a bunch of other conflicts going on all over the world, and nobody has that same fear about other people coming in and taking over different countries. And then my thing is this: if that's the fear, then why don't we go in there and fight directly? It's not the fear. The whole purpose is to try and weaken the Russian Federation for some economic purposes. It's not about them trying to take other places. Furthermore, NATO was never supposed to go as far as it has. It was not supposed to be right up on Russia's border. You know, having the Baltic states, then they tried to take Ukraine and all kind of, it was never supposed to be that. Now I think they got Finland. They're trying to box Russia in, but Russia is somehow the bad guy. It's all just a bunch of nonsense to try and make the American people think one thing when in reality a different thing is true. And also, if it's about some kind of Nazi action, like how, you know, in Germany they took over and invaded places, if it's about some Nazi action, then why are we not talking about the Nazis in Ukraine that we're funding? I don't understand.
Exactly. Aren't they in like the western part of Ukraine?
Yeah, that's the Azov battalion. Yep. Like the one guy that was out there in Florida with the tattoos on his face, he was over there in Ukraine fighting for the actual Nazis.
Yeah, I seen it in your video.
Yeah.
My fault to talk over you.
Nah, you good. But it's like, okay, so we're funding actual Nazis. We're talking, you got black folks scared of the white supremacists and the Nazis. Meanwhile, they're celebrating our taxpayer money going to literally fund white supremacists and Nazis in Ukraine. It's weird.
Yep, and I bet you if they find out if most of them find out the real truth, they'll be like, okay, so we're funding Nazis that's fighting a war that has nothing to do with us.
Right, exactly.
And I don't want to take up the entire time, but and that's what I'm saying. And I thought about that too, exactly what you just said. I thought about that because I was about to say the war in the Middle East, that's been going on for decades. But then they were saying, oh, we need to stay out of that, let them resolve it with each other. But we want to get involved with Ukraine and Russia. And wasn't Vladimir Putin trying to take back Ukraine to make it the USSR again?
Well, I don't know about that part. I mean, I think the whole point was to just try to not have them become part of NATO. I think that was the ultimate thing, because they figured that if they became part of NATO, now that's going to be a disadvantage to Russia militarily and geographically.
Okay, so so basically the full story is Russia didn't want Ukraine to be part of NATO.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's why they took Crimea back in 2014, because if they would have not taken that, then Ukraine could have been part of NATO, and that particular part of the Black Sea would have been compromised. That would have been terrible for Russia's military. So really, it's a geopolitical issue. It's not really about trying to restart, USSR.
Okay, so basically it's like a territory war in a sense.
Something like that, but really it's a war of progression from NATO against Russia.
Okay, so geopolitical, like you said.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I hope I pronounced it right, but that sounds about right. But yeah, I'm gonna keep looking more into that war and like the western part of Ukraine, because somebody told me about that, the western part of Ukraine, because I've been hearing rumors about that Ukraine has some racism in it. But one guy told me that the western part of Ukraine had actual Nazis in it from World War II, from Hitler days.
Yeah, actual Nazis. They are in Ukraine and they're fighting against Russia, and we're sending money to them so they can fight Russia, which is weird.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, then, ABL. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, you have a good one.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. 504 on line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. It's Alien Spaceship.
All right, man. What's going on?
All right. Good callers and good coverage. So, yeah, I was just seeing the other caller talk about the Ukraine and Russia situation. So basically with Russia, the USSR collapsed in the 90s. So now it's the Russian Federation. So it's not that anymore. And they took the banners and stuff from Tsarist Russia, which Russia was originally an empire. And then it became communist. And then it went back to Russian Federation. But it's not a monarchy anymore. And then so it has to do with the people in that part of Ukraine want to be part of Russia. And also what you said about the NATO situation, they don't want NATO keep pushing in further and further because they made an agreement with them not to push in, but they're pushing in. So I think it has to do with a territorial thing more than a USSR expansion because it's not there anymore.
Absolutely correct.
Right. It expanded all the way to East Germany and like a part of Berlin. There's the Berlin Wall. I wasn't born yet, but you would know that. And yeah, then it collapsed and they gave all that stuff back to them. And I also think like with Putin, things he's saying about how the West is going away from like Christian values. And like, you were showing earlier with these stupid classrooms showing, the LGBTQ flag all over the place. It's like, I feel that's part of the reason why they don't want that to be influenced in their hemisphere.
Oh, absolutely. That's really a thing that they're trying to avoid in that particular part of the world. Absolutely.
Right. And I think that there's a lot of propaganda going on to try to steer people like away from it's like to be against Russia, and they're doing a good job at it. But a lot of people, I'd say, are waking up. And also, I think with the LGBTQ thing, the organization, I think it's just a financial scam. And it's a thing to destabilize the country. Like during Pride Month, they have all these corporations that take the gay pride stuff in their logos, but over in the Middle East, they don't push that over there, but they just do it over here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And also, I think with, like we were saying about Obama, I think that is very interesting that these things were coming out about him, and these people are coming out that they had these affairs with him. And yeah, I think that, it's very crazy. And yeah, maybe the media, if they knew about this, they didn't want us to, maybe they thought people wouldn't vote for him if he was gay or had gay tendencies or something.
Yeah, because, okay, you have, he at the time he was married, of course, and had the kids. So if you have this squeaky clean, perfect image, and then it comes out that you're smoking crack and you got all kind of like other stuff going on, not so clean, not so squeaky, that's not really going to work out too well. And remember, he ran on a campaign of being against gay marriage. So that kind of thing, it just wouldn't have gone well for a guy trying to be the president. People still like politicians. They like clean imagery. So that just would have went totally against it.
I totally agree. And I remember during his presidency, some of my friends were telling me about it, and I thought it made sense. And now I could have absolute confirmation about what I was being told back then, and obviously what was going on. Yeah, and also you're showing earlier about those neo-Nazis, and I think they're probably government agents. Like, although the Nazis killed a lot of people in Germany, I'm part German. It's just like the Nazis over there, they wouldn't have liked all these tattoos and the way that these Nazis act, and they remind me of this faction of the Nazis called the SA, which was like a bunch of thugs like these people. So as I said, like, even the Nazis themselves wouldn't have liked those people, and I do think they're trolling and trying to cause racial division and try to destabilize the country that way, because if we're all divided by race, they could try to conquer us, and they're using them as control opposition, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, of course. That makes sense.
Yeah. And also, it's a very good show. I like the callers, and thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Goodbye.
All right, great call. Shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. 304 to the line. Who am I speaking to?
Very good show. I like.
Hey, ABL, it's Derek. This is completely off subject from anything you spoke about tonight, but I kind of got into like a little argument, I guess, with someone the other day, and they wanted to tell me that Republican-ran cities were more violent than Democrat-run cities. So, I mean, I'm sure this probably won't come to a surprise to you, but I did just a little bit of research, and I looked up the highest murder rates in the top 20 highest murder rates per 100,000 people in the top 20 list of the highest murder rates per 100,000 people, and I'm just going to give you the top 10 and who the mayors are and which side they vote for. So you got first is St. Louis, Tashara Jones, Democrat. She's a black woman. Baltimore, Brandon Scott, Democrat, black man. New Orleans, LaToya Cantrell, Democrat, black woman. Detroit, Mike Duggan, Democrat, white man. Cleveland, Justin Bibb, Democrat, black man. Las Vegas, Carolyn Goodman, she's independent now, but she was a Democrat before 2009. That's a white woman. Kansas City, Quentin Lucas, a black man. Memphis, Jim Strickland, Democrat, white man. Newark, Ross Baraka, Democrat, black man. And Chicago, Brandon Johnson, Democrat, black man. And then you have Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Tulsa, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Louisville, Oakland, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta as the other 10. But I just thought it was surprising. Every single one, the top 10, every single one's Democrat, ran by or has a Democratic mayor. I didn't know it would be that far to one side.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a thing that they should pretty much. I don't even know where they got the information from about Republican cities being more violent. I don't even know where they got that from. My question right away would have been, okay, name the cities, and the person probably couldn't have done it.
Well, that's why I wanted to call in and just say that, and I got that from more than one source. But I think the reason why they say that Republican-ran cities are more dangerous is to hold up the whole gun control, narrative.
Oh yeah.
But go ahead.
I was saying, of course, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, well, that's all I wanted to say, man.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the liberal policies really to make a violent city, It's the policies. That's really just it. Like a Denver, Colorado with the drug issue and the homelessness, that's caused because of the policy. Miami, Florida has a similar population as Denver, but it doesn't look like Denver. What you getting in Denver, Colorado, maybe even a Salt Lake City, Utah at a certain point, because they're starting to become more like California. As more Californians come in and they bring their ways with them, they bring their voting patterns with them, you're going to have a lot more of what you got in the previous place, which is why Austin, Texas resembles a baby California, because you got all the Californians out there and they're bringing their policies with them. 208, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Anthony Brown Logan, this is Marcos calling you from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
All righty, what's going
on? I watch your show religiously, my friend. You're doing a great job. Great show tonight. I did get interrupted. I kind of missed the part about BLM in Ohio. But the Barack Obama part, I'm finding it very funny that that's resurfacing now. I want to think that these conservative lame ducks are actually growing a spine and actually bringing some things to the forefront, because they've certainly not done a very good job of it in the past. And I don't know if you've done this comparison or not, ABL, but I have. Have you noticed between the Hunter Biden story, which you hit on a little bit, and the Trump story, it seems like the escalations are par for the course. Everything that comes out bad about Hunter or Joe or some of their nefarious activities, then Trump gets hit with a new charge. I don't think I'm imagining that.
No, I believe you're right. I think it's been like, I think there might have been somebody did a video about it where they showed every single time there was a Hunter Biden story, allegation, whatever, a charge, right after that, there was something against Trump every single time.
Yes, that's exactly what I've been noticing. And now there's rumblings, Tucker Carlson, thank goodness Tucker's who he is. He's not going to be silenced. He's not going to be shut up. He's a little hard to find. He's not like we had direct access to him like we did have, but he's all over X. And the things that he's been bringing out here lately, it's, really it's kind of scary, because, I've thought this for a while. I don't think they're going to be able to stop Trump because the man don't know the word quit. He's never going to stop fighting. That's what he's done his whole life. And I think what was brought out on the Tucker Carlson show, I've been saying that for a couple of years. There ain't a whole lot of choices left, because if you look at it like this, look at the hot water that the Bidens are in, okay? And this doesn't stop at the Bidens. It goes all the way back to Obama and the crap that he was doing. If they allow a conservative, I don't care if it's Trump, DeSantis, a conservative to get in there and go after them, they know they're sunk. There's just too much evidence, because I would hope that the next time we get a conservative in there, the very first day is they have the National Guard come in and clear the White House. I'm talking about get rid of Ray, any holdovers from any Democratic age, clear the White House out and start from scratch. That's the one mistake Donald Trump made when he didn't do that. That's what cost him his second term.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts on it. Like I said, I think we pretty much think along the same lines, but I will be surprised. Nothing's going to surprise me. This is the bottom line. It's all-out war against Donald Trump not making it to the White House. So who knows what they're capable of.
Yeah, we shall find out, like in 2024, what they're going to do with the next course of action is. We shall find out.
Yes. Well, thank you for your coverage. thank you for serving our country, and keep up the good work, brother. I hope everything goes well for you.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
You gotcha. Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. All righty, man. What's going on?
Oh, hello.
Yeah, are you there? Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hi, ABL Stanley. How's it going, mate?
It's all right, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, everything's sweet, man. Thanks again for taking my call, man. Great show again.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Obama, man. Damn, what's he still doing in the closet, man?
Yeah, time to come on out now, huh?
Yeah, I mean, look, man. At the end of the day, if you're gay, you're gay. No one cares. Just, I don't know why he didn't come out in 2012 when he was, when he was running to be the president. I mean, it wouldn't have cost him the presidency, right? Or,
I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. It could have been a little bit different if he would have come out at that time.
Yeah, I wonder if he'd have lost many votes or gained many votes. That'd have been quite interesting. I have a feeling that probably would have cost him it, but I feel like times maybe. I mean, that was back then. Maybe now, maybe it'd be different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just. Yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, but I mean, I just lost my train of thought now. Yeah, so again, yeah, I was going to quickly talk about one of the callers talking about Trump, about, people are just a bit obsessed with him. They're always sort of bringing him up. And yeah, I watched a clip recently of Bill Maher on the Joe Rogan show. And yeah, so obviously they're talking about Biden. And Joe was basically saying, he doesn't like Biden because of the countless lies. And straight away, Bill just says, "Oh, but at least he's not as bad as Trump. I mean, Trump lies more than Biden." It's like, we're not even talking about Trump. Who's talking about Trump? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that TDS is so crazy, and people I feel like long after Trump, I'm talking about like 20 years from now, people will still be talking about Trump in the same way. It's like at a certain point, move on with your life and figure out something else to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, what they really need to create a vaccine for TDS, like ASAP.
Seriously, they really do, because people really need that vaccine right now, ASAP.
Yeah, it's just and I am a fan of Joe. I do like him, and he covers a lot of good stuff and he has a good podcast and everything. But I just felt like he didn't push back on him. I mean, I feel like when people come out of that stuff, you really need to just lay into them and be like, what do you mean? What lies exactly are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? I mean, because most of the stuff now that these people come out with, the insurrection and this and all this, it's all debunked. It's all just like, it's all lies. Like, in this, there's all evidence there to suggest that it's just all crap. I mean, but they just get away with it. They still come out of it. And yeah, it's just, again, it's quite pathetic. You know what I mean? That these people are. So look, man, like, Trump's not president right now. Biden is, you know what I mean? Like, we're talking about him, you know what I mean? So that's what I was going to say about Obama, about the whole thing of, when you were saying the thing about people, people, and obviously liberals, the left, Democrats say, oh, why they come out of this stuff? It's all just rumors. Well, look what they've been doing for years. All they do is come out of rumors and smear and lie. And it's like, well, you started it.
That is 100% right. It's like, come on, like they've been doing this for years and years and years, and they don't stop, and they never relent. Like the whole thing with Russia. That is really a rumor that they've parlayed into impeachments and criminal trials and everything else. So if they're going to do that, then I'm not going to have any sympathy for it being done to them.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like, don't start crying now. Like, you've got a taste of your own medicine. I mean, like, you wrote the book, you wrote the dirty playbook on politics. It's like, we're just playing your own game. I mean, hey, man, it's like, we can play fair if you want. We can debate the policies and actually have a civil conversation. But these people don't want to do that. I mean, so it always comes down to, I mean, look what they're doing with Trump. This is all one massive smear. Like, all these indictments, when you think about it all together, it's just a massive smear campaign, right? I mean, that's pretty much what it is, isn't it?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, it's just a massive smear campaign. And I honestly feel like after it's all finished, he needs compensation of some kind. I don't know if they can give him an extra term. I mean, is that possible?
Well, I don't know about that, but it should be some kind of compensation for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry, don't want to take up too much time. Yeah, thanks again for taking my call. Great show. Take care, mate. Thanks.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, see ya. Bye.
All right, great call. Shout out to my man for the call. And thank you all for being here yet again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. But yeah, this whole thing, people, like I saw a lot of conservatives talking about, oh, you shouldn't be talking about that, all this and that and the third. It's like, man, come on. Like, nah, I don't feel any sympathy toward these people that were talking about Christine Blasey Ford and all kind of stuff. They put Christine Blasey Ford on the cover of Time magazine. It's like, man, come on. If you're doing that, I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. But shout out to Brett Kavanaugh for being the Boy Scout, for having all the people that supported him. He had all the support in the world. All the support in the world. And that is ultimately what saved him. If not for that, he would have had a problem, in my humble opinion. He definitely would have had an issue. You know, but he had all the support in the world. He had, wow, this is an interesting picture right here. Hold on. Have you guys seen this picture? Wait a minute. This is an interesting picture. Now, I'm not saying anything other than it's an interesting picture. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But I think you guys have seen this picture before. Hold on. That should man Obama getting a really big bear hug. Now, I don't know if that's a particular guy that he knows or it's a celebrity or something. I'm not quite sure what's going on right here, but I don't know about y'all, but I'm not trying to have a man lift me off of my feet, giving me a bear hug. I'm talking about like both of my feet in the air. I don't know about that. You know, that might be a little much. That might be a little much, but hey, I don't know. If I'm not a little boy or something like that, and that's not my uncle or my dad, you know, that's a little, I mean, two grown men. Put me down, sir. Unhand me. Unhand me, sir. Put me down. I'm not trying to get lifted off of my feet. You can't have my toes in the air like that. That's not really how we're gonna go about doing this, right? That's not really the wave. 470, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, you may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head.
Hey, ABL. Hey, it's Greg from Wild and Wacky Atlanta, where anything can happen at any time. How you doing, sir?
I'm well, man. How about yourself?
Good. I'm sorry I missed you. I haven't talked to you in about a month, so I keep missing the calls so you can't get on your line. But anyway, so what's going on in Fulton County with Trump? So did he roll through the ghetto again? People cheering him on?
Oh, I don't know. I think he did it at one time. I'm not sure about any other time.
Yeah, so first they said there's 19 defendants that can be on trial, and then it says 18. They said there's 19. Well, which is it?
I think it's 19, but I think they talk about Trump and 18 others. So total, it'd be 19, you know?
Yeah, well, it's confusing. And then they say they're going to, now they say they're going to, like, indict people at different times or whatever, or have people try at different times. I don't know what's going on. This is just all a bunch of bullshit, you know, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I believe that.
But
right.
what do you...
Go ahead.
At any rate, this is only making Trump more popular. I already have my Trump mugshot T-shirt coming through the mail. It should get about 5 or 6 days from Donald J. Trump website, so I can't wait to get it. So I'm going to wear it to the Cab Farmers Market just to piss off the leftists, because about 95% of people that shop there are radical leftists, socialists and communists, so can't wait for that.
Right on.
So as far as this Running Man is concerned, or what is it, Burning Man, actually, there was a guy that ran into that about like 4 or 5, 6 years ago and committed suicide. What is up with this Burning Man thing? What is the big thing about this?
I don't really know. I've not heard too much about it. I'm familiar with the story you're talking about, where they set the sculpture on fire, as they always do, and the guy ran into it. But I don't really know what the big draw is behind it. But as far as I can tell, it's like a big hippie commune, modern hippies, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just bizarre. Hey, back to the Trump trial and everything. One of my coworkers is harassing me about that since August 24th. He came out to me on Thursday, August 24th, and said, "Oh yeah, Trump's going down. Your man's going down, and blah blah blah. He's gonna get arrested, and this and that." And I told him, I said, "I don't want to talk about politics with you." And then he, like 10 days later, starts playing something that Trump released about. Remember the PSA he sent out about people are afraid to go out in Atlanta to buy a loaf of bread, and crime's out of control, and Fannie Wilson's out to get. Has this campaign to get Trump, So he's playing that on my lunch break to try to intimidate me.
Oh wow!
So I got to put a stop to that. Yeah. So I'm getting harassment. I got called a white supremacist by one of my coworkers back in March of 2020. He tweeted an email, or actually tweeted to one of my non-white coworkers. Said, "Oh yeah, Greg's a white supremacist." He's just like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." So he tried to spread this bunch of shite behind my back to get me fired. So I've experienced a lot of harassment and resistance against being a Trump supporter, but I'm not going to back down. I'm going to stay firm in my resistance against the left.
Right on.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. They do that in the workplace. The leftists are very sneaky. Very, very, very dirty. So, anyway, that's all I want to say. I also want to say one thing before I go. Thank you. I really appreciate you for what you do, and I want to congratulate you on getting a little over 100 million. 1 million supporters. That's 3 weeks ago.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I signed up your website at work. I subscribe to you at work, so you get more supporters. So yeah, you got over 1 million subscribers. That's really great, man. More power to you. Keep it up. Hey, long live Trump. American first, Trump 2024.
Thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Take care. See you. Bye.
All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. 808, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, speaking to Bennett.
All righty, man. What's going on?
I'm just calling from Maui.
Oh, you out there. Okay, so how are things in Maui right now?
Well, yesterday was 1 month after the fire, so I don't know. Sort of feels a little like it's settled down, but there's still a lot of questions, and nobody seems to be going to be taking any accountable or liability. We'll see, but a lot of different emotions on the island for sure.
So what are some of the unanswered questions that you guys have?
Well, I guess there's two different conversations going on. One conversation is sort of based in the things that we can actually sort of address, sort of reality, so to speak. And then another conversation, of course, is all over the internet, right? With, was this not an accident? Was this on purpose? Was there something nefarious going on? So there's kind of those two types of things happening. But as far as like fire prevention, during the fire, it was pretty chaotic, but there was a lot of stuff that's pretty hard to answer. And then also post-fire, as far as search and rescue, and also response with supplies, food and water. An actual whole west side of the island was actually cut off for days, if not weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just want to, thank you. This is like maybe the third or fourth time that I've actually talked with you, ABL. So just want to say thanks. I know that you recognize Maui. You might recognize the 808 when you see it. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, is there any questions out there for me that could kind of help dispel anything?
I think people were talking about like some of the space lasers and stuff like that. I mean, how do you guys on the island feel about that kind of talk on the internet?
It's pretty rough, to tell you the truth. It's pretty rough because we can have these conversations, but if you're actually a person that's in the place that a disaster has happened, and people start really talking like that. Now, we all know those things are real. It's true. You can look them up. But when you start trying to insinuate that this possibly happened here, and there's actually, you know, fatalities, whole families have been wiped out, kids, parents, and grandparents, all gone. So it's pretty major, and it's pretty tough to talk about that right now. You know, I don't know, but there's so many coincidences that are falling in line with certain proclamations that the governor signed a few weeks before the disaster. The fact that our mayor upped the Maui Disaster Fund from $3 million to $40 million, like 2 months before the disaster. The fact that we have a police chief on Maui that 2 years ago was the commanding officer, incident officer for the Las Vegas massacre. And 2 years later, he's our chief of police. And a lot of people are just going, what's going on?
Right. Understandably so, for sure.
Yeah, pretty crazy. But, you know, since I'm on here right now, I just want to say, you know, everybody, if you keep Maui in your prayers, keep the folks on Maui, keep the island of Maui. Maui is open for business. If you have any friends or family that have thought about coming to Maui or have a trip planned to come to Maui, please come. We need you more than ever. It is just a small portion on the west side that's closed off. And as long as you're respectful about what has happened over on that side of the island, you can still enjoy a beautiful island of Maui in spite of that.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, man, thanks, ABL. Thanks for everything you do. Trump 2024, let's do this.
Right on, man. Thank you for the call.
Take care.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Yeah, it's rough out there. You know, what happened in Maui is a pretty serious situation. But, you know, also, Hawaii is a big place. You know, there was a fire that happened, but it didn't impact the entire island. And there are multiple islands. So, you know, shout out to everybody out there in Hawaii. Because it's a pretty big place, though. It's an entire state. You know, just like, think about your state where you live. It's not just going to be like a small city or something like that for an entire state. It's a big place. So, yeah. Prayers out to everybody out there in Maui. People, you know, entire families and everything wiped out. It's a serious issue for sure. All right. But there's quite a few things. And one of the biggest things was that the former police chief from Vegas was out there in Maui. 773, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend. How you doing?
Oh, well, man. How about yourself?
I'm good, thanks. I appreciate that. ABL, you know, as much as we'd like to say how stupid the Democrats are and whatnot, there are smart people in the background that are playing a game of chess. If you think that the police department is not prepared when they bring a subject in for questioning and we suspect him of a murder, we are prepared beforehand. We know where you've been already. We did our homework already, and now we're questioning you so that you could jump into a bunch of lies, which is what we love. We love when you lie because it proves you're a liar and it backs you into a corner. And it's the same thing with the Democrats here, in my opinion, ABL. They're playing chess. We'll do this. We'll make this move. How do we get the Republicans into the corner that we want to get them in? We'll do this. They should react like that. It's like a think tank. They're thinking about it ahead of time. We'll do this, they'll do that. Then we'll do this, and they'll do that. And I really do believe that the Democrats and other nefarious organizations, CIA or whoever it might be, you know, take your pick, that they helped orchestrate that, what they like to call a coup on the Capitol. That's what they like to call it. But I know, and you know, and the rest of us know, it was nothing more than a riot. It was a riot as much as of a riot was with Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Here's the thing, ABL, because I was in the middle of those riots. Antifa is an organization. They are organized. They want chaos. They're anarchists. And I believe I told you once before, there's videotape of a bunch of people peacefully protesting the Christopher Columbus statue here in Chicago. Then when they got to the statue, the people that were there peacefully, they were there peacefully. But suddenly, out of that group, dressed normally, were a bunch of Antifa people. They had the banner. The banner was held up by, a conduit, like PVC conduit, which was sharpened into a spear. They took that to ram at the police. They took off their backpacks. They all had umbrellas so that, anything can be deflected. They used the umbrellas as a shield. In their backpacks, they put black clothing on. All their black clothing, they do that so we can't point out the guy in the red, the guy in the green, the guy in the yellow. They're all in black with the thing, and then they started throwing firecrackers. This was an organized plan to attack the police and cause anarchy. And I believe it's the same with the Capitol riots, that they wanted that to happen. And they did everything possible to make that happen and instigate that. We played right into their hands, or at least the faction of idiots that played right in their hands. What are you doing? Try not to look stupid. You really have to try not to fall into their traps. Otherwise, you look dumb. And now they're just going over and over. It was a coup. It was a coup. A coup is where you take a bunch of armed guys from the army or the military or the police that is on your side and thinks, yeah, this small core group is going to have a coup and we're armed. That's not what it was. Now, it's a riot. Just like the riots as I was talking about, most of the people that were rioting in Chicago and all that because of the Floyd thing and all that, most of those people just came down to be part of the mob. And then mob mentality takes over and you have a riot. And that's what happened at the Capitol. You had a mob mentality take over. Once things start rolling, once you push the snowball down the hill, it starts to gain momentum and get bigger and bigger. And that's what you had at the Capitol. Nothing more. Nobody tried to take the government over. One other thing, ABL, and then I'll finish. I saw that Rachel Maddow on a video, and she was actually trying to sell the premise that if you elect Trump in this next election, he will be president forever. She was actually serious about that he won't want to leave. He'll become a dictator and do everything in his power to be the president forever, which is obviously, it's ridiculous. That's an untruth. Everybody knows something shady went on. There's no way all those millions of people voted for Biden as much as they hate Trump. And they did some shady things, and they're trying to do some different shady things now. They keep saying, we have to make these people that are here full-fledged citizens. Which might as well say, we let them come in here because we want them to vote democratically so we stay in power. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, ABL, and I'll talk to you later. I'm curious on what you think about that, but I'll talk to you later. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
Thank you, ABL.
Great call, as always. Shout out to my former Chicago police officer friend. Shout out to him. Really good call. About the part of Rachel Maddow, all these people, they will say things like that. They will say, it's just my opinion. It's just how I feel about ridiculous things, talking about if Trump was to, when he went to leave and all this and that. Ridiculous things. They say things like that because they know that a large portion of the audience will believe it. That's all. They are just feeding into what they think their audience wants. And quite frankly, it's insulting to them because they think that their own audience are a bunch of morons. It's really a shame, but what are you going to do? That is MSNBC. That's pretty much been their business model. That's just what it is. But that'll pretty much be a wrap for me. Thank y'all for being here yet again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. I could not do the show without you. If you enjoyed what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. This is also a podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Apple iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. And we got some super chats here, if I'm not mistaken, if I didn't call them all yet. But again, I thank y'all for joining. Hey, shout out to all the mods for keeping the trolls in check. Shout out to everybody for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. I could not do this show without you, so I thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. And we have also gotten to 1,010,000 subscribers. So shout out to you guys for keeping on subscribing. I appreciate y'all. I think a lot of my short videos have taken off, so maybe I'll do more of the short videos. That's kind of where it's going, a lot of the short videos, so it's all good. Maybe I'll do some more of those, but I appreciate y'all. Oh, and also follow me on my other social media platforms. We're over 100,000. We're at 101,000 on Instagram. I'm on Facebook as well. I'm on Twitter. Well, now it's X, formerly known as Twitter. And can I say something right quick about Twitter or X? How about I'll just say Twitter sometimes, and you guys will know what I'm talking about. Because sometimes when I say Twitter, some will say, oh, you mean X? Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, so shout out to Twitter, a.k.a. X. I'm everywhere on those platforms. And also go to the website, anthonyblogan.com. That's always going to be there regardless of what they try to do. They try to X me out. They try to say you can't be here, you can't be there. Well, I got that website all day long. You can't control that. That belongs to me. All right. So shout out to you guys again. I appreciate y'all. Thank you to Rebel Without a Reason, who says Obama's maternal grandfather was George H.W. Bush's cousin. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think that I saw something where they said that all presidents were related some kind of way. I believe I did see that, but maybe I'm incorrect. And shout out to Spitfire for your donation with the coffee mug emoji. And thank you to PH, who says Republican cities are dangerous to criminals because the criminals get punished. There you go. Exactly. If you are in a conservative Republican run city, you're not going to be able to smoke crack all day outside and harass people and not go to the penitentiary, bit rocks or the rocks. How about that? If you're in a liberal area, then it's a haven for criminals and not so much for the common everyday people that have to live amongst the criminals who are given all types of passes and leeway to do whatever they want to do. But that'll be a wrap for me. I appreciate y'all. I will see you guys again live on Saturday. But I'm here every day putting out pre-recorded content on the YouTubes, on the Twitters. I'm going to still call it that. I don't care. Because what I'm going to say, on the X's, I don't even sound right. On the Twitters, Instagram, Facebook, I'm everywhere. Y'all follow me there. But that'll be a wrap. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.